red, blue, purple light. Friends, red, blue, purple light. Friends, facts, red, blue, purple light. Friends, red and blue, purple light. Friends, facts, you can get to know the ledger, sacrilegious Sunday to melanin Monday. You can get to know the ledger, my love. Just open your third eye on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes, the Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road, you better stay on your toes. I was till the land focused on the ego. Then I opened my heart, let go of the ego. Grand after grand, we stacking up these C notes. Facts, facts, yeah, we gon' put this shit on our backs. Facts, facts, we in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts, peace, love and light. Peace, love to the family. Peace, love and light. To the family. Peace, love and light. To the family.
These days and time, black man, is going to be the time that you have been waiting for. You came here for a reason. Whatever pressure, whatever adversity, whatever the fuck you feel, I don't know what you feel, but whatever you may be feeling is going to push you and it's going to provoke you, and it's either going to make you or break you, similar to how pressure busts pipes or the shit makes diamonds.
Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Live. This is your host for the evening, Brother Red Pillar, reporting live and direct, all right? Let me know how we sound on the audio. You dig? And that song that you just heard, that is the 44 Tops featuring the F.E.A.R remix. All right. That is the F.E.A.R remix featuring the 44 Tops. You dig? So yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And that song is available for everybody who sends one of the donations to buymeacoffee.com/Know the Ledger 444. That is the way that you could support this channel. We don't do the super chats and we don't do Cash App. We do Buy Me a Coffee. So thank you for your support in advance. All right. So with that being said, let us get busy. Let us go ahead and do the roll call for this evening so we know who is in the building and we get to stamp it. All right. And we get to stamp it. You dig? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood, California is in the building. All right. We got Harlem in the building. We have Oklahoma City in the building. We got Connecticut in the building. Okay. We have Virginia in the building. Shout out to the VA family. We have Las Vegas in the building. All right. We have SC in the building. Fontana, Kansas City, San Jose. The Bronx is here. Milwaukee is here. B-More is here. Riverdale is here. Harlem is here. All right. Lafayette, Louisiana is in here. Leimert Park. the BX. We got Camden. We got Boston. Shout out to Boston. North Carolina's here. Barbados is here. All right. Memphis is in the building. Tampa's in the building. Mount Vernon is in the building. Naptown is in the building. We have Palm Beach in the building. Cobb County is here. Florida, baby. We got London in the building. Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Fort Worth. Virgin Islands. Ireland. Chi-Town. Bmore. We have the Bronx, Santa Rosa, Cali, New Bedford, Massachusetts. Shout out to everybody in the building pulling up. You know what I'm saying? Good evening to everyone. Thank you for joining us. We have a interesting show prepared for you. Literally been in front of this damn computer damn near all day to the point where I had to lay down before I even started the show. I had a slight migraine. So, I'm going to deliver the information and give what's given. And then I'm going to go lay down because I had a long day. All right. Last night's show, I did a show with Brother Rich last night. If y'all was able to pull up to that, you know what I mean? Thank you, everybody that was in the building and just there giving the energy and whatnot. It was a good show. An epic show. Shout out to Black Dot, shout out to Urban X TV. You feel me? And yeah, that part. Okay, so y'all was in the building. That's a good thing. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. The only thing missing was Blue Pill. That was the only thing missing with Blue Pill. You know what I mean? But yeah, we was getting it in. Radiohead, Black Dot, and Brother Rich. Good combination. Especially with the topic. Especially with the topic. It was honorable for the good brother, to tap in with some of the alumni for Black Magic. And when it was called UGR, Underground Railroad, I don't know if y'all go all the way back to Brother Rich's channel, but it was UGR. So to speak about a new timeline, it was poetic justice to get people from the original timeline to speak on it. And there was a lot said. Tonight is a continuation of that conversation. If you did not see it, I'll drop the link in the chat before everything is over. You'll be able to catch up on the show afterwards, but tonight will be like an addendum. You feel me? It'll be an addendum. I put together some slides and whatnot. Yeah. So let's get into it. I don't want to waste anyone's time. Let's get into it. Yeah. Let me just wait for this team. All right, Gullah Geechee in the building. Glitch for the switch. No, glitch for the Twitch. You feel me? And yes, shout out to all of the KTLians, all of the queens, and all of the elders. You feel me? Especially the elders. I hope that we are making you guys proud the way that we're handling things, especially in the past few days. You know what I'm saying? With this post-election coverage, trying our best. You feel me? Trying our best to not trying our best, but doing our best to alleviate any type of false expectations, any type of haunting energy, any type of unassured energy that's out there. Doing our best to put it on record and to make it known, make it a public record where we stand, what we stand for, how we feel. You know what I mean? And we just want to be responsible. A lot is at stake. People's hearts and their minds and their feelings and whatnot. A lot is at stake. I am a natural comedian. I am a trickster slash jokester. I'm the red pillar of the Scorpion King. So you already know what I'm about to, I'm going to, I'm gonna be in the kitchen cooking with seasoning. You feel me? So I'm gonna season up. I'm gonna cook them and fry them like fricassee. That's really what I do. My brother, who's the blue pill, he brings more of the cerebral effect and whatnot. But we are one energy, just two spectrums. You feel me? One energy, two spectrums. So if anybody is like, "Yo, you're nothing like blue pill," I'm like, "Thank you, brother," because that's what twins are. Twins are not supposed to be underneath one another trying to clone one another. I'm authentically me. You feel me? And I'm very comfortable with being who I am. I'm not trying to be like anyone. I'm not trying to fashion myself behind anyone. I'm not playing a role. I'm not following anyone's blueprint. I'm literally standing on my own 2 feet. Whatever that means, I mean, who knows? But I just feel that I'm standing in my authentic space. You know, I'm gonna crack a joke here and there, but I'm passionate and I'm very enthusiastic about my work. I take this, and I'm my biggest critic. I promise you, there's no other critic in the world that could critique me the way that I could critique me. You feel me? Like there's no one out there who puts me on the scales like I do. So I'm constantly in the state of improvement. I'm constantly in a state of self-examination. We are currently in Scorpio season, so there's a lot that comes with that. When you're in the season, I'm a Scorpio, I'm in Scorpio season, and the energy is high. The energy is high for this season. Time is moving fast. I think the daylight saving times threw my circadian rhythm off. You feel me? It did, because it's getting darker very early and I'm not used to that. It happened real quick. So I'm still trying to fit myself into that. What happens with me, because I'm born in November, is the minute something like that happens, then I switch into hibernation mode. It's like, I'm getting in that mode, that winter mode, where it's kind of like, I kind of have to go into a cocoon type shit. That's what winter does for me. I'm not a wintry person. I'm real introvert in the winter. Especially as I get older and whatnot. You feel me? I'm very introverted in the winter. I'm very drawn in. I might not even want to be on camera. I might not even want to be on the internet, during the real hard dark night of my soul winter type shit. You know what I mean? I might just want to stay in the bed and be curled up. You know what I'm saying? Like I might want to be in a dark room. You feel me? Like I might just want to be walking in the forest by myself. And it's all good because it's about transformation. And that's something, if you ever dealt with a Scorpio, if you have Scorpio children, parents, siblings, relatives, then you know that we respond to our season, faithfully. You feel me? And Scorpio is all about transformation. It's all about change. It's all about, shedding our skin, you know and my solar cycle is coming up November the 14th, and this year has been one of the most trying solar cycles of my whole existence, of my whole contract. I promise you, I've been through a lot this year. I don't speak about everything because this is the internet. You got to wait till the book comes out. But you said what happened to Phil T. Moreland channel? They took it, bro. What you think we doing here? This is the month. This is the rebuild right now. They took my channel of 15 years. You feel me? It's like they snatched my chain with Mad VVs in it. It's like they did a drive-by snatching of a chain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they took the channel. They tried to deplatform me. They was playing big games with me and bro, right? But, all good things come to those who wait. I just saw, uh, I call him 47, right? Donald Trump. He did an announcement. I believe it was on Twitter, and he said that he's going to get the censorship. He's going to make sure the people who censored those truth warriors, you feel me? Those truth warriors, and he's going to help them get everything that was taken from them. I'm one of those truth warriors. You know what I'm talking about? Me and Blue Pill, we're one of those truth warriors, because I promise you, I have a cache of emails dating all the way back to 2007. I started my channel in 2008, really. I got emails going all the way back from 2008. I'm talking about a whole notebook full of emails that I printed out with people, saying, "Bro, you saved my life." I found out about Dr. Sabi through Know the Ledge Radio, and I booked a flight to Honduras and was able to cure myself of life-threatening diseases. All of that type of stuff. So here it is, when we decide to take Alphabet/Google to court, is going to be for a lot of M's. You feel me? Because y'all don't have nothing, everybody that y'all tapped into the show, and y'all might have came on board 2020, 2015, 2017. But when I tell you, we've been doing this since 2008 on YouTube. And ever since 2008, our channel has not been approved for monetization. They just approved, this is the original channel that I'm talking about, not this one. This is not monetized. They approved the first channel, the legacy channel, and then they took the channel like a month later. You feel me? So we got to put the right paperwork together, and we going for the big gusto. You feel me? The big gusto, to the point where, if it even gets to the point where we got to go down to Google and do the press conference with the whole, with the KT aliens with the 44 top shirts on, and play red and blue purple like Prince on the loudspeakers, that is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make it, we're going to turn up the heat on them. I'm just being patient and waiting. I don't want to jump out the window. We're gonna wait for season 25 to start, and then we're gonna cook. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. It's the price that you pay, right? It's the price that you pay for whatever this thing is that we're doing. I don't even know what this shit is called. But this is the price that you pay. They snatch chains and whatnot. They'll try. I mean, all across the board, Twitter, Instagram, they was all trying to, Twitter. I mean, my IG is shadow banned. It's been shadow banned heavily for years, but none of that means anything, because y'all still found us, right? None of that means anything, because y'all still here. So we ain't even gonna focus on that. That's neither here nor there. That is part of a bygone era. We are currently in a new timeline. We are currently in a new timeline. So in this new timeline, a lot of the things that were withheld from us is going to be returned and restored to us. You understand? First and foremost, before anything is said and done, we have to collectively understand that all is mental. All is mental. Okay. If it's not in your, if it doesn't exist in your mind, it's not an original thought. All is mental. If it's not your thought, then it's not yours. You feel me? Government spending is about to change. More money back to the people. I mean, something is already happening. They having record days on the stock market. All of my I looked at my Cash App for my Bitcoin. That shit is damn near boy. I mean, I don't know if y'all understand how that thing works, but if you literally got Cash App and you have money sitting on Cash App and it's just sitting there minding its business, not doing anything, the easiest way that you can experience this whole Bitcoin thing is just put that shit in Bitcoin right there on your Cash App, and it's gonna grow right there. It's like a fucking seed. It's like a seed. It's growing. It's like a damn tree. You know what I'm saying? So it looks as if for season 25, right, coming up, that crypto is going to be a big play. Everybody is telling me make sure you stack up something in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, the big three, you know, and I'm paying attention and I'm listening and whatnot. Because even if you don't got 75 grand for one Bitcoin, I remember it was 16 grand. Shit, I remember on Know the Ledge when we were talking about it back in the days, 2013, it was like 3 bands, you know, it was like $3,000. So my, oh my, how things change, you know? Yeah, 1.2 trillion in one day. So it goes right back to the conversation that we were having about currents and currents transferring to currency. So certain individuals represent certain currents and whatnot. You know, there's some individuals that represent a negative current, and then there's other individuals who represent a positive current. And the positive current was Donald Trump getting back in the seat of quote unquote leadership of the Nebuchadnezzar to drive the ship. And the quote unquote market definitely responded. Okay. It definitely responded. And the currents, you know, are moving and whatnot. The currents are moving. So we're going to see how this thing takes us into the new year's or the new fiscal year as we close out 2024. We're in the fourth quarter and it's a countdown. You dig? It's definitely a countdown. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Everybody didn't make it this far to see this thing. So what a effing time to be aligned. Let me see. So let's get into the show, y'all. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing going. All right. Okay, so this is the show from last night that I was referencing. You guys go and check it out. If I have a mod in the building and you could go and get the link from Black Magic 363, please go ahead and do that and drop that link in the chat. You know what I mean? So the family could tap in respectfully. So across my timeline, and I'm sure across your timeline, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on. Yes, Candyman may transition. We're going to talk about that, I think, for Sacrilegious Sundays. That's very important. We're going to get to the Candyman thing. You know what I mean? You know, especially when we talk about the Chicago drill rap and that whole scene and whatnot. How do you get mod access? That's a good question. That's a good question. I'll let you know in 1 minute. Hold on. So there's a lot of stuff going on the timeline. One of the things that I'm seeing on the timeline is the Kamala blowback. Okay. It's the Kamala blowback. Pause. You know what I mean? There's a lot of blowback for Kamala Harris's failed campaign. And the way things are moving, and because of the dexterity of this whole thing that we're seeing, it's not a failed campaign, it's a failed party. Okay. It's not the ending of somebody's presidential run, it's potentially the ending of a party, right? Who might not be able to get right, you know what I'm saying, for a very long time. That's what we're seeing, right? That's what we're seeing. Okay, so boom, Dennis, I added you as a mod. And Copper Moon, I'm adding you as a mod too. Respectfully, I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? All mods, I put it out there too. All mods, y'all are getting a free ticket to the upcoming lecture that me and Blue has. All right. So I want y'all to know, you know what I mean, for being of assistance and working with me, I'm gonna work with you. You know what I mean? So Ashe. So yeah, my timeline is lit, man. My timeline is lit, but it's a new timeline. So my timeline is giving good energy. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's some crying people and whatnot, but I feel good. I mean, you know, based off of what my timeline is showing me, I don't see like elders breaking down. You know, I don't see, you know, I see people crying and shit who's gonna be all right. You know, they're gonna be all right. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, let's check out some things.
So I'm scrolling and I see a lot of Black women making videos talking down to Black men who voted for Trump. And I just have to say, if you voted for Trump and you're a Black man, thank you. And I thank you because I know exactly why you voted for Trump. You voted for secure borders so that us women and children can be safe. You voted for a strong economy so that us women and children can be provided for. You voted for our children to not be indoctrinated in this failed public school system. You voted for my right to not have to use the bathroom with a biological man. You also voted for our children not to be drafted into another endless, senseless war that only benefits the military-industrial complex. And also, you voted for the protection of our freedom of speech. The same freedom of speech that these evil, nasty, disgusting women are using to wish death upon you. So as a Black woman, I just want to say thank you for voting for Trump. I truly appreciate you, and I'm going to speak life into you. I pray that God continues to protect you and guide you. I pray that He gives you the success that you deserve. I pray that He gives you the strength to lead your family and your communities. And for anyone who wants to say in the comments that I'm a pick-me, baby, I'm already chosen. So what about you? It's Trump 2024. You already know.
Trying to call her pick me. Trying to call her pick
What
me.
is going on right now? China just announced that it hopes for a peaceful coexistence.
So we now have something called the Trump effect taking place. We now have something called the Trump effect taking place. Okay, check this out.
With the United States, and that they respect the choice of the American people. Hold on, bro. So you telling me the second that Donald Trump gets elected, all of a sudden China want to send out good favors and good conversation, when it's really been like a cold war between us, China, and Russia for like Biden's whole term for real, and in general, of course, but yo, it was really crazy during that time. And this is the thing that I be confused about. Now, I'm not a Republican and I don't support either party, but I think people should take note that the Democrats are very war hungry. They're very blood hungry. They are constantly at odds and at wars with the superpowers across the world, bro.
I want to just share. I had a very interesting conversation earlier today with a good brother who has he's a clothing line owner, my brother Mike out of California, right? He's in Florida right now. And we literally was on the phone for like 3 hours. He was going in, You know what I mean? Just making a lot of parallels and whatnot. And he brought something to my attention and he helped me with my perception of how I seen something. He broke down how the Democrats, the Democratic Party, the same party that our people, right, are the face of, they're the battery of said party. They are the matrix battery, the battery that Morpheus holds up in the matrix. That is our people when it comes to the Democrats. Now, the Democrats are more bloodthirsty than the Republicans. I'm going to repeat, the Democrats are more bloodthirsty than the Republicans. Okay. Underneath Democratic administrations, there are more cop killings, almost double that of the Republican administrations. Underneath the Democrat administrations, you have an uptick in what they call abortions. All right. The number one killer of our people, okay, not gun violence and whatnot, abortion. All right, where people don't even the spirits are not even making it through the firewalls. They're getting, but the Democrats, right? They sit back and they watch young black children kill each other in these democratic cities, and they turn it into bureaucracy where they're able to get money off of the cadavers of dead black boys. They don't like our people. Okay. Democratic run cities are killing fields. This is a fact. Cities with black mayors and black administrations are killing fields, and it's done on purpose. So these bureaucrats and these quote unquote politicians are able to get more money based off of the upticks in violence and whatnot. New York City had more aborted black fetuses than actual live births. New timeline. New timeline. Something has to disrupt it. Something has to come along and disrupt it. It cannot continue to spiral out of control. These people are feeding off of the magnetic fields and the energy fields of our people, man. And our people are somewhat complicit by being card carrying members of these democratic quote unquote clans. Let's talk that, the sex trafficking, the organ harvesting, utilizing places like Atlanta for a hub to run these children all around the world. Atlanta, the quote unquote Negro Boule blue city. They'll give you keys to the city and whatnot in these killing fields. They'll give the killers the keys to the city in these killing fields. Okay? They promote gangbangers. They elevate gangbangers. People like Stacey Abrams, they come out to shows and whatnot with Young Jeezy, with Lotto, right? She's the one that first started the thought movement by hugging up to these thoughts and whatnot, the lowest rungs of our society. And that's the same thing when you get on stage with, a drill rapper or a gangbanger. Okay. These are entertainers, but they still, make no mistake about it, they represent the lowest frequency of our community, what we would call the quote unquote the degenerates. These same Democrats are allowing men inside of girls' bathrooms. These same Democrats are allowing men to compete in women's sports. These same Democrats are allowing men dressed up as women to read to your children about fornicating. These are the Democrats that are doing this. This is all the quote unquote liberal agenda. This is a new agenda. This is not the Democratic Party that your parents grew up voting for. This is not, these ain't the Dixiecrats. This is not Walter Mondale's Democratic Party. They just gave Lil Wayne the keys to the city. Yep, you already know what's coming next. So there is something about the Democrats that we have to collectively step back and look at and really begin to assess and take a non-emotional diagnosis of. We have to diagnose these parties, because I don't know if everybody understands how deep this deep state rabbit hole goes. Now, one thing that I could say about the Republicans, you feel me? And once again, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a black Republican. I'm not a Moorish Republican. I'm not here to quote unquote do the Republican thing like that. You feel me? Right? However, I will speak up for, the truth. And how I see it, you know what I mean? The way that I see it, the truth shall set you free. And hold on a minute. And what I've seen, damn. Okay, my bad. Yes, Lyndon B. Johnson said he was going to have Negroes voting Democrat for the next 200 years. So when Lyndon B. Johnson comes in with his brand of Democrats, right, that's when it all goes wrong. When Lyndon B. Johnson, who is complicit in whatever happened to Kennedy, I mean, I don't think that he lined him up, but I definitely know that he got that phone call and was like, fam, get your shit together. You know what I mean? Start polishing your shoes, my nigga. You up next. He like, me, story? Yeah, you up next. Get ready. And then when it went down, he was in position and whatnot, you know what I mean, to take that oath of office and to, destroy the nation, which is something that he did, and whatnot. And the LBJ Democratic, that was the beginning of that. The Democrats came in with Andrew Jackson going all the way back then. Okay. With the Dixiecrats. I mean, it been a motherfucking it's been a shit show with them. Wilmington, North Carolina was the coup that changed history. It definitely was. I bring that up as well. I tell people before we start talking about Black Wall Street, let's pay homage to the Wilmington Massacre, 1898. Okay. And that's when they took out the fusion government. And this is the rise of the Republicans from a deep South point of view, where they were the opposition. You know what I mean? They represented the party of the Confederacy and things of that nature. Okay, daughters of the Confederates. This was a coup d'etat. This was a coup, right? This was a coup d'etat. And everything began to change from that point. So we have to realign our values and whatnot. And, in my humble opinion, throw that party away. They don't serve you. You don't have no benefits from being a Republican or a Democrat. To be honest with you, there's no benefits in American society. They were illegal immigrants that were receiving more benefits than you were, and they were not declared to be a part of any political party. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think that we understand what politics truly is from a holistic perspective to even be saying that we are quote unquote political. We need a refresher. We need a refresher. But what I'm seeing on my timeline is the death of the Democrats. They are dying right before our very own eyes. And this thing called the Trump effect is taking the world by storm. It's taking the world by storm. Remember, we are observers. We don't cast any votes, so nobody is feeding off of us. There's no wires and there's no tentacles attached to me personally as a person. You know what I mean? I'm not being drawn. So when the day came of the election, it didn't matter which way it went. They were not pulling from my energy, so I did not feel depleted and whatnot. A lot of men and women of our community felt depleted because you were the battery in this whole machine leading up to it. They used Kamala as the face, but that first day when 44,000 black women got on that goddamn Zoom call and they said that we are standing behind Kamala, you became the face of the race. And I'm going to share with you that you are the face of the race, right? Because Donald Trump on the Republican side, if he would have lost his race, you automatically knew who his base was, because if you saw a redneck pull up in a goddamn red truck and whatnot, you would have been like, your boy lost. You would have rubbed it in their face, right? Because you know who his base is. You don't have to play around and try to figure it out. You know that the face of his base is the quote unquote white man / rural white man, redneck white man, white businessman type. Same thing for the Democrats. This time around, it might not been all, we might not be talking about all the other times, but for this dance, for this soiree and whatnot, for this time, this go around, black women were the face of the race. Okay. And you had an ambiguous black woman, right? Because that's what they like. They'll take ambiguous over real any day. That's why they had Obama. He was an ambiguous black man. He looked the part and he played the part, but he's ambiguous. They went to sleep comfortably knowing he's not all the way black. He's playing that shit expertly, but he's not one of them. He's ambiguous. She was ambiguous. She was not one of you, but she looked the part, she played the part, and she did enough to kind of like get people hyped up, and then they got behind her and they plugged her. So the meteoric rise that she experienced really was your energy. That's what it was. It was really your energy. It was really your mental. It was really you pushing her. It was your stamp when you stamped her, because anything that our women stamp, I don't care what it is, you could stamp shit and it will turn into gold. You do it every day with the rappers. Okay? You do it every day with the rappers. She didn't look the part. She looked enough. She looked enough. She threw them damn pearls on, and women was like, yo, we rocking with her. Come on. What are we doing? I'm not talking about y'all in particular, but people in your family and your co-workers and your homegirls and your friends and your, yeah, she was down with the whole, she was one of them. They were all going to the White House, not just her. This was black women's shot to sit in the Oval Office, because when Auntie became president, everybody becomes president. You know, we live through people vicariously. You let Kamala become she would have did the inauguration, every black woman would have been the president that day. The same way when Obama became president, they wanted us to live vicariously through him, right? And what happened the next day after he did his inauguration? Niggas was depleted. Everybody felt kind of depleted because your battery was used up. I was one of those batteries. He used up all of us as a battery. The Democrats used us as a battery to the point where the economy crashed. The whole shit fell apart, and it was still powered up by our energy, so we didn't even realize that the shit crashed. They were able to fix it. They were able to fix the matrix in record time and whatnot, and then boom. But that's what was going on. We was the battery for the Obama run, first and second time. Okay, got nothing from it. Got weaker, right? Got weaker during it. It got weaker during it. Look, like I said on the show with Rich last night, when I came into this thing, it was a Republican administration. It was the Bush era. I thrived in the Bush era. You understand? I thrived in the Bush era because people understood they were way more serious. They were way more active. When you told motherfuckers to show up somewhere, they were showing up. They were way more active. When the Obama era came, oh my goodness, you should have seen them. They were walking through Harlem snickering at us. Read a book about Malcolm X. Who is he? What has he done for us? I don't think Obama likes Malcolm X. I'm not touching that. They were snickering at us. They were, you Black Power. They would give you no callback. You be on the Black Power. Niggas is looking at you like, man, if you don't put that flag down. That what was going on in Harlem the day after Obama got elected. During the whole run, Negroes got comfortable. Negroes kicked their feet up. They gave us their ass to kiss. And they were like, we're not relevant. You know what I'm saying? We high on the hog. Master, we's the my president is black, nigga. The niggas thought that they was the president. You know what I'm saying? And they got a rude awakening. Nigga, you ain't nothing. Because you put all of your faith in the wrong person. Somebody that was ambiguous. Ambiguous. Meaning he's what is called a Morisco, a little more. He was considered to be an amalgamator more. We dealt with people like Obama in the 16, 17, 1800s. They dealt with the Obama types in France. They dealt with the Obama types in Haiti. They dealt with the Obama types, the black nobility in the Europe and whatnot. The Obama types were called the conquistadors. Did you know that? And I try to explain to people. I tell them, I say the examples are in your face. Look at Drake, right? Look at French Montana from Morocco and whatnot. These phenotypes, they were at play during the quote unquote Moorish, during the Moorish, the golden age of the Moors and whatnot. So the Moors, the people that the Moors fell to looked like Drake. They looked like, they were amalgamated. They had white mamas and Moorish dads, but they went against the Moorish fathers, and they were the mulattoes. When the conquistadors came into America, that's how they looked. They didn't look like blonde hair, blue eyes, and everything. Not all of them. They were amalgamated. They were quote unquote what they would call mulatto. There's many words to what they call them. In Mexico, they call them one thing. In the Americas, they call them one thing. In France, they call them one thing. In Africa, they call them one thing. Yes, they showed. Yeah, they showed you they showed you them when they cloned Tyrone. Yes, indeed. So let's continue to move on into this thing. The Trump effect is what we're talking about. Yes, tragic mulattoes. Okay. And this is no disrespect to anybody in the audience who happens to be a mulatto. I'm not taking nothing personal. This is not sneak dissing. I'm literally just giving a history of the phenotypes of some people in history, because in school, the same education system that he's going to do away with, that education system, ladies and gentlemen, gods and goddesses, that same education system has been lying to us tooth and nail for approximately 100 years. Okay, they were not, they were, they weren't telling the truth from the gate. So if he ends the Board of Education, he's actually doing you a favor. The textbooks are out of date. They don't have the right information in it. The teachers and whatever this goddamn curriculum that they've been teaching, this Rockefeller endorsed curriculum, is all indoctrinating the children. For real. Yeah, for real. It's all indoctrinating the children. Their children can't read. I just had a conversation earlier this week with my sister, who happens to be a principal. Now, Ruby Selah. She's finished with the school system. She says she's cool. She's retiring. She's retiring. She's a principal, not a teacher. She's a principal of a Brooklyn high school. You understand? And she's going to come on this show to do a lecture entitled "These Fucking Kids Can't Read." Okay? And she was very pissed off when me and her was on the phone talking, and she was very stressed out too. The things that she's been going through as a principal. And for the month of, well, I would say for the season of Scorpion, I want to get a lot of that type of information to the audience. I want to get a lot of that type of like real, like real underneath the surface type of information, like real shit. Not to say that other shit is not real, but whoever's a parent in the audience, just press 1 so I could take a temperature check about how many parents we have in the building. So when we do these shows, we know that we're hitting a niche. We're speaking to an audience that actually needs this type of information. You feel me? They need this type of information. I want to have those type of conversations that really hit home. I want to have the hit home type of conversations, because I'm not finna assume that everything is on an up and up when it comes to these parents out here, and y'all have heard everything that the principals and the teachers have to say. I want you to hear it from the mouth of a principal, okay? So she could tell you what the hell is going on with this system, and we don't have to speculate. You feel me? I want the shit that she told me. I was shaking my head. I was SMHing for the whole fucking day. I was going to cancel a show and just stay in the bed because it was very heavy on the heart, man. She said some shit that had me like, no, stop playing. She was like, yes, that's what happened to me. For real, for real. I'm like, God damn. Are you serious? And she told me the flexibility that she had in 2022, right? All the way in 2022, the flexibility that she had, because she had a member of the rap group Brand Nubian, Sadat X. She was able to get a budget for Sadat X to come into the school and teach her students, right? The foundations of hip hop, writing, counting bars, stuff like that. He was, Sadat X is official. You know what I mean? He was teaching her students. She can't even do that anymore. They cut the budget for shit like this. She can't even do that anymore. She can't bring nobody in. She can't teach the children anything outside of what this curriculum is demanding of them to reach. She says that they have to pass the children even if they don't know how to read and all of these things. She said it is horrible. It is horrific what is going on at the Board of Education. So once again, when they try to trap your energy and harvest your energy with all of these. He's going to get rid of the Board of Education. We got to go vote. It's over for us if we don't. All of that shit that they did where they threw these carrots out there, and a lot of people were biting those carrots and whatnot. Right? They were biting those carrots, and then they washed you. They washed you. You know? So we got to have a conversation about, you feel me? Like, we are in a new timeline where we are responsible. I am not about to get embarrassed in front of these goddamn Europeans globally and locally. Okay? Because that's what's going to hurt the most. You feel me? That's what's gonna hurt the most, when we are embarrassed in front of these people who we used to, you know what I mean? We taught them how to use forks and shit like that. We taught them how to clean their bodies and shit like that. We taught them how to bathe. Not these people. I'm not finna get embarrassed in front of these people. I'm not finna get embarrassed in front of these people. And that's one of the saddest things that can happen as our people in these next 4 years, is we just keep getting embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Because them people swear that they got our number. They swear that they got us figured out. They swear up and fucking down that, you know, we'll never get together and do anything worth our while. Real talk. They swear. We got to prove them wrong. No, I think that she's a principal of the charter school. Yeah, I think she's a principal. I think the school that she's a principal of is a charter school. As a matter of fact, it is, what's that shit? It's a well-known thing. Starts with a K. It's a program. When I remember it, I'll say it. But let's get back to the Trump effects, y'all. Let's get back to the Trump effects. The Trump effects, a global thing, right? The whole globe is changing just because this man was elected president. So it's showing you KIP, right? She's a KIP principal, the KIP program. So it is showing you, okay, that, and once again, I don't have to be a Republican. I don't got to be pro-Trump. There's two choices that we were dealing with. It's like saying Mike Tyson or, you know, Michael Spinks, right? There's only one winner. There's only one option. So if there's giving you two doors to walk through, yes, both of them are bad options, but one door, you're going to completely fall off the cliff, and the other door, there's an actual goddamn plank that you could walk and you won't fall off of the cliff. This door that opened up on November 7th, right? Versus the Kamala door, that door that we collectively walked through, we did not fall off the cliff.
The Democrats are just very good at making it sound good to you. They be doing the same thing the Republicans do. They're just way more Machiavellian. There ain't no way you telling me the second Donald Trump gets elected, all of a sudden, the other superpower in the world wants to peacefully coexist. And if that isn't feedback for you for the way that Biden ran his term and Kamala aided him, I don't know what is, bro.
So let's check out what Donald
On day
Trump
one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures, and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare, and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate.
So we have to understand, and we have to keep in mind, and we have to, collectively agree that this is a con man speaking. Let's all be clear. You know what I mean? This is a con man speaking. And the con man sells you something with the right hand and robs you with the left. You understand? So let's not collectively, once again, they're energy harvesting, and this is the harvest season. So we're not throwing energy behind anybody's empty quote unquote words. We're not a part of the circus. We are observing it. Okay. We are watching this movie called Americana season 25. This is the build up to the new season, and he's just giving you trailers coming up to the new season. But please, please do not get caught up in the motherfucking 3-card Monty hustle. Okay. This is propaganda to get the left and the people who just lost riled up. This is propaganda to get people speaking and leaking. Leaking what? Fear. Because outside of the fact that I'm like, you know what? I'm with all of that. I still have to, as a human, I still have to be compassionate towards the little children that are scared and intimidated and feel a kind of way because he's now speaking about ending all of these programs that were benefiting whatever agenda that they were attached to. Right? So, at the end of the day, this is propaganda because remember, Elon Musk, this is all Elon. Elon Musk probably even wrote that. Elon Musk has a child who did a gender change. Elon Musk said that he lost his son, and his son doesn't even exist anymore because when the son changed his name and had a sex change, they basically disowned the child, and the child don't want to have nothing to do with the father and whatnot. So Elon Musk is on a vengeance. This is the richest man in the world blaming the woke virus for killing his child, and he has a vengeance against this gender affirming quote unquote this shit that they're doing and whatnot. But at the other end, when I spoke about the Democrats, what they've been doing is they're basically kidnapping these children, putting them in these type of quote unquote, they're grooming them. Okay, they're grooming them, and they're taking tax dollars to basically affirm sex changes for children who haven't even made up their minds. They haven't even gone through puberty yet. All right. They're being influenced by Nickelodeon, right? They're being influenced by the Disney Channel, who has an agenda because you've seen them being exposed and you saw somebody pull the curtains back and they're like, nah, this is what they're doing at Nickelodeon. This is what they're doing at Nickelodeon, right? So the Nickelodeon shit is a spell in and of itself. And a lot of the children that are tapped into these programs, they're becoming confused because the energy in and of itself is it's the energy coming off of Nickelodeon already is compromised. So anything that the children was receiving from places like Nickelodeon and Disney, it already has viruses. It's already tampered with. It already has malware. So the children are not going to receive it because there's all kind of hidden messages and there's all kind of things that their subliminal minds are picking up on. It's picking up on it. It's programming them, not in a way that you would want them to be programmed. And let me play this.
My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination and the elimination of federal funding. As part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parent's consent. The identity will not be new, and it will not be without parental consent. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today. It was all when the radical left invented it just a few years ago.
So the radical left is Obama. This started underneath the Obama administration. Okay. This started underneath the Obama administration, and they're going to come after this. They're going to come after Obama. They're going to come after his policies. They're going to upend a lot of the Obama era policies, and they're going to reverse a lot of the things that they move forward and whatnot. So Atlanta is not a real place. Check this out. They already painting over the Kamala signs. So the fact that, you know, we are in a new timeline, they are erasing her from the quote unquote records.
You gotta see me that one.
My girl just lost a day ago. Like, damn.
They ain't even let that shit breathe, fam. God damn. I mean, what we doing? That shit is crazy. So I thought this was real news, but it's fake news. I threw it in there anyway, though, because, you know, Candace is about to come up on a bag. You know what I'm saying? She's about to come up on a big bag. She's one of the big winners in this quote unquote. We're still dealing with the fallout. We're still dealing with the quote unquote fallout leading up to season 25 starting and whatnot. So, you know, everybody's going to get rewarded for the work that they did. She put in mad work on the quote unquote information media side, and she became a shining star during this presidency, during this run.
To public health. The censorship cartel must be dismantled and destroyed.
Okay, so this is where they talking to me and Blue about this censorship thing.
Have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple just like dominoes, one by one. They'll go down. That's why today I'm announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech for all Americans. And reclaim is a very important word in this case because they've taken it away. In recent weeks, bombshell reports have confirmed that a sinister group of deep state bureaucrats, Silicon Valley tyrants, left-wing activists, and depraved corporate news media have been conspiring to manipulate and silence the American people. They have collaborated to suppress vital information on everything from elections to public health. The censorship cartel must be dismantled and destroyed, and it must happen immediately. And here's my plan. First, within hours of my inauguration, I will sign an executive order banning any federal department or agency from colluding with any organization, business, or person to censor, limit, categorize, or impede the lawful speech of American citizens. I will then ban federal money from being used to label
You feel me? So when he starts that engine up, that'll be our key to basically, go and get our bag. You know what I mean? Our people need help, y'all. Our people need help, y'all. This is not a victory for melanated people, this Trump thing. This just means that the signal, the engine, the horn or the trumpet is blowing, that it's time to clean these niggas up, that it's time for black people to clean up or cease to exist at the end of the day. These niggas is crazy and they need to be stopped. Check this out.
I think Thug made a choice in his life to be a leader. And right now we're hurting. There's more crime, more rape, more poverty in that area because the leader's not there. And so what they do is they take out the leader to change the community back to what it was. I'll tell you what he said. Leaders got to take this kind of stuff on.
As he gets on the other side of this, what do you see for him?
One of the greatest prophets to come out of our culture.
Now, Kevin Liles is smoking fentanyl, crack, and moon rocks. Okay. Now, this is the type of shit. This is the Democrats mentality. This is a Democrat mind state. This is how disillusioned and unattached from reality these people are. This man just called Young Thug a leader in his community and said that he's one of the greatest prophets to come out of our culture. Young Thug is busy on Twitter shooting tweets at fucking Gunna about being a fucking snitch, bro. You know what I'm talking about? This nigga Kevin Liles needs to be excommunicated from our culture because he brought Young Thug to us, Meg Thee Stallion, and a few other people. Fetty Wap, nigga. He's turning into Russell Simmons. He's turning into Elmer Fudd. You know what I mean? This nigga used to be chubby. You know what I'm talking about? So I could put 3 Bitcoins on him being on the Diddy tapes. 3 Bitcoins. I can promise you this nigga is on the, he's too goofy not to be on the Diddy tapes. You understand? He's too goofy not to be on the Diddy tapes. And these people in Hollywood and the music industry, they are running fucking wild right now. They are scared. They're not sleeping good. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see a lot of people tapping out before January 21st. You dig? Because the pressure of them being exposed underneath the Trump administration is more heightened than them being protected under the Kamala administration, because the Kamala administration, the fact that they control the intelligence agencies and whatnot, she basically would have some type of sway over them exposing all of these slaves, right? These are groveling slaves, you know what I'm talking about, who have become a part of what they call the swamp. There's no distinction at the end of the day. They're part of the swamp. So, they said that Quincy Jones died of stress. You know what I mean? Of not knowing what was, who was about to get exposed and things of that nature. You feel me? Yeah, but check this out.
What's the dying industry? Music.
Yeah, music's over.
Me and my boy have this debate all the time, and I agree with Vince Staples and Joe Budden. The music industry is over. Now, when I say over, there will always be people that make music, but the ROI of being a music artist is just simply not there anymore. If you want fame, clout, and followers, just go be a YouTuber, and it's more cost effective. Not to mention, at the end of the day, every industry comes down to the consumer, and the consumer is shifting away from the traditional artists. People don't care about good music no more. It's not about that no more. If it was, we would still have a music industry, but people don't care about quality music.
Yes. No, I know he was 91, but he was, it was word that he was strapped. Word from our sponsors, the Mart 125. It's hoodie season, ladies and gentlemen. And we have those hoodies on deck for you. All of the master teachers. We have Dr. Delbert Blair. We have C. Freeman L. We also have Baba Dick Gregory, Bobby Hemmett, all right, and a few others. So make sure you go and check out the mart125.com. We also have a 30% sale. You know what I'm talking about? We also have a 30% sale going on. So take full advantage of the Mart 125, y'all. All right. Take full advantage of the Mart 125. Coming up on the 22nd, we have the Solar Cycle 25 with me and Blue. Make sure y'all go and check that out. Make sure y'all go and check that out. Okay. You can scan that right there and get your tickets for the upcoming lecture featuring me and Blue Pill on the 22nd. I believe that is a Friday. The Rise of the Super Sapiens, Solar Cycle 25. Anybody that gets that lecture tonight, we are going to give you a free lecture along with it. The masterclass that I did with Brother Q Reeves, Unveiling the Veil. We did this on October the 26th, and it's full with prophecy, pure prophecy, and it's going to help you in this new timeline that we're in, right? As the veils are being lifted in this new timeline, it is there to assist you. Please go and check that out. Take full advantage of that. Scan that QR code right there with your phone, and it will take you to the website. All right. And that is a word from our sponsor.
We're blaming him.
So check out this sister's message to Kamala, right? Shout out to my elders, right? Shout out to my elders laying it down and speaking the truth.
And we have all the Democrats trying to figure out what happened. How is it that all of these people in the country, over 50% of the people, of the registered voters in our country, voted for Donald Trump? What happened? And you, instead of you looking at yourselves, you're looking at everyone else. I looked at several shows today, and they were talking about the people were racist, the men, the black men were misogynistic, the Hispanic men are misogynistic, the white men are racist, but you never said anything about the Democrat men. What's wrong with you? You have spewed hatred. You have had nothing to tell the American people to make us want to vote for you. Nothing. You had nothing. If you saw, I have had many videos, many people have asked, what is your party's platform? You never had one. Your party platform was one thing, and it was Donald Trump. And because of your hatred for Donald Trump, you thought that you can do everything you wanted to, and you were going to make the American public hate him. Guess what? When you decided that you were going to harm him physically, you made him a martyr. People started looking at him and said, this man is doing all of this just so he can help the United States of America. You had all of your ads talking about how he was Hitler and how he was going to do everything to our country and destroy the country, whereas we were watching you do the same thing that you were blaming him of doing. The same things. When you said people weren't going to be able to speak anymore, you were the ones who paid Mark Zuckerberg or forced them to keep people off of social media. You were the one that coined that term misinformation and said that anyone that said anything that you disagreed with, you needed to do something to them. Even one of your leaders even said that we might even have to put them in camps and deprogram them. You did that. You said that. So don't get mad at the American public when you have over 50% of us who decided that you are going in the wrong direction. When you decided that you were going to get people, entertainers that most of us would never pay to go and see. People that were twerking and doing all types of despicable things on stage that most of us could not relate to. You had them at your political rallies. How dare you look down upon us
That's
so
right.
much that you would think that was impressive to us?
That's
Or
right,
when you
Auntie.
had all of your athletes come and try to threaten us about voting for your candidates. We don't care what an athlete says. An athlete has nothing in common with the average American family that cannot spend $200 and have one meal prepared for their families. So that was on you as well. And then all of the threats, not just to Donald Trump, but you were threatening people. And wait, I don't understand who you paid to do your campaign that told you that you could threaten 340 million people and get them to do what you said. Do you know, I don't know what you all have missed in history, but that didn't work 500 years ago. And it surely is not going to work today. When you decided that you were going to control all media, and media was going to spend every bit of their time talking about Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. When someone asked anybody from the Democrat Party any question about the economy, but Donald Trump. When you ask them about the wars, but Donald Trump. When you ask them about the children that were missing from the border, but Donald Trump. That's always your answer. Then you started really neglecting our people. You gave illegal immigrants up to $15,000 on a credit card. You paid for their housing. You paid for their food. You paid for childcare, whatever they needed. And then transportation for them to fly across the country. And you gave nothing to Americans. As the people in Lahaina lost their homes and suffered and lost their children, and you wouldn't even let them go in to find their children. As the people in Ohio, their water was poisoned by all of these derailments that were very suspicious. You never went to check on them.
Let her cook.
As the people in the southeastern part of our country were suffering from hurricanes, you did not give them anything. And so you wonder why Americans did not support your candidates. They did not support your candidates because you have totally lost a connection with the American people. And not just one group of people, you've lost it with Black people, Hispanic people, Muslim people, Armenian people from all different parts of the world who have come here, and they came here as legal immigrants at some time in their past. You have lost control of all of America. You have no connection. The only people that you have connections with, and I will never down other Americans, are people who have always been beholden to you because of history. You know, it's a historical thing. So they support you because they don't know any better. And so I say to you, when you start talking about us being unintelligent, us being racist, us being misogynistic, because it's only because of you. That's why. It has nothing to do with any of the above. It's because of you. You have lost control of the American public, and it's totally on you.
Okay, so I got to address my guy Nazim because he's like, I got him. How many people who been following this narrative when I started talking about the shit show, the election, before this was in 2023, right? I remember it was the end of the year episode. I say, yo, the elections is coming up and we calling it the shit show. It's going to be the biggest shit show that you've ever seen. As a KT alien, I want to tell y'all, I don't have no horse in the race. I'm not supporting nothing. And this was when it was Trump versus Biden. And I say, yo, fuck all of them, right? Fuck all of them. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna observe it. You know what I'm talking about? I said we finna observe it. You know, we're gonna sit back and we're gonna take notes and we're gonna observe it, because what I don't have the power to do is to snap my fingers and make both of them disappear. So whatever they put in front of us, we're gonna observe it. And these there's multiple lectures, but this one right here, When in Rome, right? When in Rome. And this one right here, Fear of a Black and More Messiah, Project Fear with Sharif. These are lectures, not just shows and whatnot. I got multiple shows where I literally was telling everybody how I felt and what I thought. And on no occasion was I anywhere pro-Trump or Kamala. Fuck both of them. You know what I'm talking about? Fuck both of them. But I definitely came to the conclusion as we counted down that she's not going to be the one who's going to walk away as the victor. I thought it was going to be close though. You know what I'm talking about? I thought it was going to be close. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did think that shit was finna be close. I fell into that propaganda and she got washed. It was nowhere close. It was a tsunami. It was a tsunami. So check this out.
Everything that people are saying about white women is true. It's 100% true. And I'm going to tell you as a millennial.
Everybody's melting down. Everybody's melting down. This is the Trump effect. This is harvest season. Everybody's melting down. Check this out.
White woman who has completely walked away from everything that she has known in her white supremacy based fucking piss ass families. It's true. It's true. White women are the fucking problem. They embolden the problem. They marry the problem. They birth the problem. They're lazy as fuck and they play victim about the goddamn problems that they're participating in. I don't know one happy white woman in one of my families. I only know white women that are either alone because men fucked them over and ruined their goddamn livelihoods and drove them insane, or they settled because they wanted their fucking retirements and they decided, hey, I might as well let this fucking pissant live next to me. White women and families that have watched their fucking husbands treat them like shit, beat on them, cheat on them, everything, but they still staying with them, laid down like a doormat. They'll be sitting at all these family picnics talking shit about these men, talking about how much they fucking hate them, how they're losers, how they get shit stains in their pants, but they stayed married to them and they still fucking voted to embolden them. White women will sell out their daughters, sell out their children. They will quite literally do anything as long as they get picked. As long as they're not the ones getting beat on. Because what do we know about toxic-ass white families? Pathetic, shitty, white supremacy-based fucking toxic-ass white families? Let me tell you about those families. When they're not going after gay people, when they're not going after black people, when they're not going after marginalized groups and poor people, they're beating the fucking shit out of white girls in the family. Especially if you're a free thinker.
She probably like 18, looking like, So check
What
this
is
out.
going on right now? China just announced that it hopes for a peaceful coexistence with the United States and that they respect the choice of the American people. Hold on, bro.
So this is the Trump effect, right? This happened 72 hours after him becoming the president. Now, once again, I would ask you, if Kamala won the presidency, would these same things be taking place? Would these same things be taking place? Would it be like double of would it be double this? Would it be triple this? You feel me? Would Bitcoin be going to 100,000? What would have taken place? I want to know from the people who were, betting it all. They put all of their quote unquote eggs in that basket for this. What do they call that? Never looking back. Never looking back. Right? The first female chief of staff was appointed. He brought a lady on board from his campaign. New York City is going to stop giving debit cards to the illegals. They was like, yeah, we cutting that shit out immediately. U.S. companies bring production home. If you have a warehouse, like I was saying before, we should have been had warehouses and whatnot. You know what I mean? We should have been had warehouses and we should have been had compounds and whatnot, because it's time to bring the manufacturing home. Similar to how Detroit was set up, Chicago was set up, Newark was set up, all of these Rust Belt towns that had warehouses. We need that. We need that right now. We need all of that to come back. We need the assembly line. You feel me? Like that will really resuscitate multiple economies. But of course, they got the robots in the warehouses now. You know what I'm talking about? They got the robots in the damn warehouses. Stock market hitting an all-time high. The shit went up to 4,400 today. It's going crazy, right? Stock market hitting all-time highs. Bitcoin hitting all-time highs. Bitcoin is at 75, 76 right now, and they're projecting it to hit 100,000 before the end of the fiscal. Newest migrant caravan breaking up. They tried to bring a migrant caravan into America and that shit broke up. It didn't make it. Qatar agrees to evict the Hamas leaders. So Qatar's like, you know what? Trump is back. Fuck all of that neutral shit. Kick them niggas out. The Hamas wants immediate end to a war. They like, no mas, no mas. I don't want war. They don't want a war anymore. Taliban claims to want a new chapter in life, right? A new chapter. They don't want it. We don't want no smoke. China wants a peaceful coexistence. Russia is ready to speak with the USA. American Union wants to buy US gas and not Russian gas. And the Ukraine leaders are in talks with Trump and Elon. They was on the phone with them. This is only 72 hours. And there's mad Africans. There was bro. These African niggas is lined up to kiss the ring. Bro. The Africans, they going crazy. The Kenyan president, South African, Ghana, like they my brother Donald Trump, my friend, you know what I'm saying? They let him some Trump, boy. They let him some Trump. Okay. They had a bomb threat at JFK.
So you telling me the second that Donald Trump gets elected, all of a sudden China want to send out good favors and good conversation, when it's really been like a cold war between us, China, and Russia for like Biden's whole term for real, and in general, of course, but yo, it was really crazy during that time. And this is the thing that I be confused about. Now, I'm not a Republican and I don't support either party, but I think people should take note that the Democrats are very war hungry. They're very blood hungry. They are constantly at odds and at wars with the superpowers across the world, bro. The Democrats are just very good at making it sound good to you. But they be doing the same thing the Republicans do. They're just way more Machiavellian. There ain't no way you telling me the second Donald Trump gets elected, all of a sudden, the other superpower in the world wants to peacefully coexist. And if that isn't feedback for you for the way that Biden ran his term and Kamala aided him, I don't know what is, bro.
You gotta see me that one.
My girl.
So this is your boy.
Home. I'm looking forward to them get their ass lynched by the police officers. I'm not going to fucking protest under no circumstance.
Listen, there's only one way to deal with these niggas. Okay, it's only one way to deal. And you know, I think Luke deserves a wake up call. It was all of the rappers who need to atone for the bullshit that they even put into the culture, like a Luther Campbell. Okay, the fact that he was the purveyor of filth. Okay, filth in our culture, especially the stripping of the morality and the values and whatnot. And he has the audacity to say something. And this is post-election. He's talking about, oh, when the niggas that voted for Trump get lynched, I'm gonna just sit back and sip on my tea. Nigga, you wasn't gonna do anything in the first place. What are you talking about? You coon-tastic. Like, we need to begin the excommunication process. You know what I'm talking about? We need to trade these niggas to Turkestan.
At all. So I'm sitting my ass back with my popcorn and
boy, man.
Black women, y'all out here looking crazy as hell, putting down and disrespecting y'all black brothers, y'all husbands and y'all boyfriends. Sitting up here disrupting your happy homes just for a damn woman you barely know. You barely did any research on this woman who doesn't care anything about you, wanted you to unalive your baby. Her main policy that she didn't want to tell y'all is that she wants to give amnesty and keep that border open for the illegal immigrants. And she wants you to pay for it. Michelle Obama come out here and tell you to go against your happy home and your man. And this is what you're going to do? When Michelle Obama, she going to go home to Barack Obama, their $21 million mansion. And Kamala Harris going home to her white Jewish man who she loves in their $1 million mansion. And while you going to be at home mad as hell at your man. Girl, give me a break. Get it together. Wake up.
Wake up. So once again, like I say, the backlash for the Kamala campaign, they raised $1 billion and she's $20 million in debt. Just let that shit sit for a minute. They raised $1 billion and she's 20 million in the hole and whatnot. And she spent that money on entertainers and people that did not help her in her campaign. Bringing out those entertainers did not help her vote. Literally, Sexy Red voting for her was the shit that got all of these thoughts running behind, up in arms, talking about, oh my God, my body, my. It was the Sexy Red tweet that did it. And she didn't even pay the girl to. Sexy Red didn't show up to no events. She didn't get paid to perform. It was her tweet that turned a whole bunch of women around and said, oh, nah, if Sexy Red is voting for her, I'm going with it too. You know what I mean? She brought the last of the thottises out and whatnot. But she paid $1 million to Oprah to be around Oprah? Crazy.
$1 million to interview her in September. $1 million. Now, if she thought she was saving democracy, she should have done it for free. Kamala scared donors by calling Trump a dictator, got $1 billion, then just gave it to her friends and blew the rest on being a diva. Kamala went on a podcast, remember Call Her Daddy? But she didn't want to go to their studio in LA. So she made the host fly to DC and used campaign cash to build a fake set in a hotel room. She spent more than $100,000 to build it. That set, see it? 2 chairs, a coffee table, and a bookshelf. That's 6 figures. Now, we looked at the set. We probably could have done it for around $6,000.
About 5.
That's without labor. But where'd the rest of the money go? We don't know. So she's still trying to soak folks for cash. 24 hours after the election, on Wednesday, Democrats got a text from the campaign. Urgent. We need help. Donate now. Help with what? You lost. This is how she's going to spend her donors' dollars.
So they overcharged. This is how they steal money. It's the same way in construction contracts and whatnot. She basically ran up the bill and overcharged on a whole bunch of shit and was basically siphoning off and pocketing money. You better hope that them Trump legal eagles and whatnot do not descend on her case, and they appoint attorney generals the same way that they appointed those attorney generals against Trump. But yeah, they ran off with that bag. That's why when she didn't do the concession speech, she was running off with a few Birkin bags full of cash, my G. She was like, let me go count the rest of these. Let me get my thumb sore and count up this money. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't, the fuck? How Kamala Harris plowed through $1 billion, right? It's a whole right. They got thought pieces on her, and they coming for her. You feel me? They coming for her. The backlash against her through her own party. They want to hang. They want to hang whatever staff that she had. They put her on this campaign. They are the Democrats are coming for those people specifically. Okay. That group of Generation Xers and Zers and whatnot, here they go right here. This is her staff, y'all. These are the people who are responsible for them damn tweets and them goddamn text messages, them SMS messages and whatnot. Here they go right here. This is the fucking peanut gallery of the Biden, of the Harris campaign. This is who they said were cutting edge and shit like that. Them. This is who's supposed to get you in the White House. This is who, way more qualified. The sisters, the black women out there, y'all way more qualified. Y'all could have helped them sisters that was on Zoom and whatnot. Y'all could have helped run this campaign a lot better than these women. Y'all would have told her off the rip, get Patti LaBelle on FaceTime. You understand me? God damn it, get Sierra on FaceTime. I mean, we have to find a woman with class. Where's Felicia Rashad at when you need her? We need women with class to set it off. Like, you could have brought Erica Badu to burn some incense and do some yoga on stage, nigga. The first person is Meg Thee Stallion. People are not even rocking with her. You didn't even read the room. But these are the people in her campaign. So what did you expect? Okay. What did you expect? When she lost the campaign, now I know why she couldn't come out and face the people. She was in a room with these goddamn numbnuts. They was all boo-hooing and snot-nosing and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? There's no backbone over there. Yes. As an AKA, she has so many options. Is Meg even an AKA? I'm saying Sierra is the balance. Sierra is the balance. You got to at least meet somebody in the middle. She went all the way to the further extreme. She went to the and her virtual signaling through the whole campaign is that I am attracting women of my demure, right? She wasn't trying to reach over her heights. She wasn't trying to get women of higher class. She was grabbing thoughts because she was like demure. There goes her staff, Wayne Brady, and the rest of these other niggas. The help. Okay? The fuck? Who gave him a lineup? This nigga like a Klingon. Look at his forehead. Pause. You know? This is her peoples. This was the fucking dream team. Okay? This is the dream team. Yeah, the Beta Mafia. Yeah, exactly. Fucking Beta Mafia. This looks like fucking all of these people on Meta that's out here censoring me and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like the fucking PTA. Who are these ladies? You know what I'm talking about? Who is this? God damn it. These look like a bunch of yes men and gophers.
All right, family. I appreciate your patience. I hear the jokes. They like, Rich, we on the right.
And that is authenticity. Hold on. These are some clips from yesterday, but I can't play that. What the hell? All right, hold on a minute.
I need to feel like this every day. Y'all need to feel like this right now and tap into that etheric energy that's present. With that being said, listen, all right, everybody know Minister Jew, aka Jackpot Jew.
Yes.
He's on the show a lot. He put up a post on Instagram with the newscasters showing different clips of Donald Trump saying, don't worry about voting for me. I have enough votes. Oh, I have an abundance of votes.
You don't need the votes. I have so many votes.
My instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes. He said that on Thursday last week.
Trump say the craziest shit. You be like, and I said the other day, I was like, Trump is a pathological liar. But there's a science to being a pathological liar. Red Pill sent me an article 2 years ago where they were saying like a lot of millionaires are pathological, are psychotic or whatever. Because they're able to completely just tap into something and believe the craziest shit in the world that the average person wouldn't believe. Saying that to say, what the hell does Trump know that the average person doesn't know in terms of magic, in terms of science? I never heard somebody just confidently say the shit he says repeatedly. He lost to Kamala. I did him in a debate. He did horrible against Kamala, whether she cheated or whatever. He didn't do good. And After how did you do? I think it was the best debate I ever had. This nigga never accepts defeat. He never accepts defeat. He never says nothing negative. I think one of his family members said that he exhibits toxic positivity. I think they said some shit like that. But my thought is, what's your thought? Because I heard about Trump being Biff and time traveling. What the hell you think he knows about manipulating matter and manipulating this realm? That he knows something. The way he talks, the way he moves, he knows something. What y'all think? He's like this dark magician or whatever you want to call it. What y'all think? Does Trump know something? What y'all think, man?
Well, he came up under a preacher who would be the equivalent to Father Divine.
Right, okay. Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
Out of Queens and whatnot. And what this preacher talked about is the power of positive thinking. That was his thing. He was a prosperity preacher and whatnot.
So did a young Donald. The message of positivity began to take hold.
One reason that the positive thinker gets positive results is he is not afraid of a problem. As a matter of fact, he finds problems exciting. He likes to take a tough, knotty problem and rip it apart and put it together again in the right manner.
With a father who preached much the same philosophy, Trump became sold on it. His father, Fred, actually became good friends with Peele, and the pastor married Trump and his first wife, Ivana. Decades later, Trump told Psychology Today magazine, quote, "I'm a cautious optimist, but also a firm believer in the power of being positive. I think that helped. I refuse to be sucked into negative thinking on any level, even when the indications weren't great. That was a good lesson because I emerged on a very victorious level. It's a good way to go." And when we interviewed the future president during his run for the presidency, Peele's impact on his life was top of mind.
You know, the greatest speaker I think I've ever witnessed was Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. And he would speak, the power of positive thinking. He would speak so much, and he'd bring it into modern day life. He'd talk about success stories and people that were successful and became alcoholics and then they conquered it. And I grew up watching that. He wasn't reading and I've had plenty of pastors and ministers that read. It's not the same thing. Norman Vincent Peale would get up and his arms would be flailing, and you hated to leave church because you wanted him to go on further.
Who got that book? Who got that book? And he was the one who helped shape the psychology of Donald Trump to basically create alternative realities, you know, by being authentically enthusiastic about what it is that he believes in his set and he's saying, right? And it became part of a culture, right? He created alt reality culture, okay? And that's what you have with QAnon and all of these other quote unquote movements that are intertwined in his cult, right? But he's been groomed from a child. He's been groomed from a teenager to be the person that he is right now. Not to mention the time that he spent with Roy Cohen, certain mobsters and whatnot that helped them with this quote unquote way of just seeing reality in the way that he wanted to see it. Because you are the one who is in control of your reality. He's the living proof to show you that. However, certain people have not seen it on such a scale like that. And he has the traits, what they call dark tetrad, that quote unquote billionaires and CEOs and things have. All right. They were able, and that's where the movie American Psycho with Christian Bale was a result of that quote unquote research, right? Where they're showing you that these people in high places have to be a little bit off and a little bit quote unquote narcissistic and Machiavellian and whatnot to pull off the things that they do, right? Yeah. So that was from last night. For my mods, can somebody drop a link for that show in the chat? I have to go and pull up this keynote real quick so we could continue the lessons and whatnot. We still got more to go. Okay, so I just showed you this individual, Roy Cohn, right? So before we get into, because we got to do these 4 years together with these people, right? So the best thing that we could do over here is to educate our audience, you know what I mean, to give you some ammo at the water cooler and to help you in your quote unquote dissertations and your conversations with both your family members, the barbershop, your coworkers, you know, your mate, whatever, you know what I mean? So we're gonna give you the facts, and F all of that other stuff. That's for them other people who deal with, you know, speculation and shit like that. That's not what we do over here. We're gonna give you the facts. So let's start out with like I said, we with this dude for 4 years, or until something changes and whatnot. So let's get to know him. One of the advantages that we have in this community amongst other communities like hip hop and these entertainers and whatnot, we know our enemy. Okay. One of the things about this community that you know, when we're not debating and when we're not hating on each other and doing stupid shit, we're studying our enemies. Okay, so we're not under the impression that we live in a world where everybody loves us and we got a bunch of fucking allies and stuff like that. That's not the we don't live under the, and when I say we, I'm speaking about my circle. I don't know about everybody else, but this community as it stands, when it's properly, you know, functioning and whatnot, we don't rock with the bullshit. We study our enemies, all right? Be the same way that they study us. So to understand Trump, you need to study him. And in order to study him, it will help you to go all the way back to his roots and whatnot before he gets into Hollywood and before he gets into the White House. You know, everybody has a foundation, everybody has a master teacher, everybody has a mentor. So whenever you want to see where a person is headed and where they're going and whatnot, you should start out by checking out who are their mentors, who are their teachers, who is giving them their worldview. Okay. Majority of the people who are vying from for some type of power or some type of rule, right? They did not wake up out of the bed and just have this urge to rule and then hopped off the porch and whatnot, and they had no inspiration from anybody else. They didn't learn, they don't have no mentors, they don't have no Obi-Wan Kenobis, they don't have no Svengalis, they don't have no Yodas. I don't know no stories like that. The majority of the people that I know, right, they have master teachers, they have big homies, they have mentors, somebody that they both look up to, somebody that taught them the ropes, the custom models of the world, someone who trained them. They may not make it to see you on your path, or this is just on the road. This is part of the hero's journey. These are some of the people that you're going to meet on this road, on your hero's journey, and they're not going to be there all the way to the end to hold your hand. Nah, that's not how that thing works. They pop up for a season and for a reason and whatnot, and then they gone. So this man, Roy Cohn, when you want to do your research, your due diligence, because like I said, we have to have intelligent conversations with the people who are now going to challenge us and whatnot, or the people who are going to act like they're more intelligent than us. Because as it stands, even living in a capitalistic country like the USA, intelligence and data is still at the top of that totem pole. Okay, there's still the pursuit of intelligence and still the pursuit of knowledge and whatnot, and the collecting of data that still reigns supreme in this biatch. So don't get it twisted. You know what I'm talking about? As long as you could pursue that, and as long as you could teach yourself and you could learn and whatnot, you can compete. You can compete. The world is literally yours. It's in your hands if you know what to do with it. So in 1973, a brash young would-be developer from Queens met one of New York's premier power brokers, Roy Cohn, whose name is still synonymous with the rise of McCarthyism in his dark political arts. With the ruthless attorney as a guide, Trump propelled himself into the city's power circles and learned many of the tactics that would inexplicably lead him to the White House years later. So this was the dude who helped him, you know what I'm saying, run the play. Okay. He said, Donald calls me 15 to 20 times a day. This is his consigliere, like how the Corleones had the consigliere and the Godfather and whatnot, like how Carlito had the consigliere. You feel me? This would be his consigliere. Okay. This man knows law. So you're able to ask him any of the questions on how to do things, how to get over on doing things, what's the best way to hide money. All of these things is what your lawyer or your consigliere is able to tell you. Okay. And you have him as a trusted, quote unquote, there's still this attorney and client, like how Brian Steele is with Young Thug, right? He's his consigliere. They're not just talking together when he's fighting a case. They sitting down and they're talking about a whole bunch of shit. Your lawyer brings you money. They bring you deals and whatnot. They bring you bags and whatnot. They introduce you to other people in your either in your business or in your niche or somebody in a completely different industry. This is what lawyers do, or rather consiglieres. Trump was I'm not reading this whole article. Let's just know that Roy Cohn is his quote unquote, that's the man that's behind him, the ruthless side of Donald Trump, the dark tetrad side of Donald Trump, the quote unquote maniac, the maniacal, the American psycho side of him. He was the one who helped to feed that beast and bring it out. That was Roy Cohn's work. That was Roy Cohn's work, right? Now, on the lighter side, the magic that Trump has, and when I say magic, please don't get your panties in a bunch. You know what I mean? What I mean is he's displaying chaos magic, okay? And the average American who is not familiar with, some of the tenets of positive thinking and whatnot, they don't know what the fuck they're saying. They have no way to understand it. And why would he tell people how to understand him? Why would he give you, this is chess and not checkers? Why the hell am I going to teach you how to beat me? I'm going to keep spinning you. He's a classical New Yorker, bro. He's classic New York. He's going to spin you. He'll never show you the left hand that don't know what the right is doing. He'll never show you. He's not going to project his moves like that. If he's telling you that he's going left, chances are he might be going right. You know what I mean? So, both as president and in business, Donald Trump is often accused of being what? Overconfident and self-serving. So there are people out here who, one of the reasons why the MAGAs, one of the reasons why the the podcast, right? The men going their own way, the red pill community, right? These young, it's not just white kids. It's the same demographics that Andrew Tate was pitching to. It's the same demographics that quote unquote the Tate brothers were marketing to. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 of African American descent now, Hispanic, Indian, Asian, Caucasian, right? It doesn't, they don't make any distinction on the nationality when it comes to these movements right now. The people that are subscribed to Lex Friedman's podcast, Joe Rogan's podcast, Theo Vaughn's podcast, Andrew Schultz, Charlie Kirk, all of these people, Ben Shapiro and all of them, it's not just white people anymore. That it started out like that in 2016 with the whole thing with alt-right and Richard Spencer, but it's now mushroomed into, the oath takers, and the Proud Boys had an Hispanic dude running shit. Like, no, Tucker Carlson. It's a whole lot of people of many different backgrounds, and they eat off of the examples that they see Donald Trump showing them. Remember, this is the incel community. These are people who are not getting a lot of trim, right? These are young men who were suicidal. They were like porn addicts and whatnot, suicidal. They were not in the gym like that. You know what I mean? Women were not choosing them. These were white boys who the white girls were going black on them. They wasn't fucking with white. They was, I don't do snowboarding. The snow bunnies is like, I don't do snow bunnies. They like, I don't play in the snow. So they began to commit murders. They began to, there's a whole bunch of articles on how the incels became, radicalized. They became radicalized, and then they started committing murders. And then like shit like Jeffrey Dahmer on Netflix came out. And then you have about 4 or 5 articles back to back to back of white men dismembering black women on dates. Okay. White men dismembering black women on dates, like Tinder dates and shit like that. So they really went dark with it. And this is some recent shit that they started doing. You know what I mean? But remember, they have a fetishment of black flesh on both sides, women and men. You know what I mean? Because if anybody ever watched Aiden Ross in the earlier days and how they be cosplaying, like Aiden Ross and really Aiden Ross, you know what I mean? How he trolls very heavy with the gay shit. Like he really trolls super hard with the gay shit. Like he did an interview with Andrew Tate, and Andrew Tate got up and he sniffed the seat. You know what I mean? This is the group of kids we're talking, and this is like fraternity. You know how they used to have frat houses, Animal House, frat humor. Well, the Animal House and the frat humor has now turned to the streamers. So now the streamers, Kai Cenat and them, they do what would be the equivalent of like fraternity frat house type of, like Kai Cenat would be the black fraternity, but Aiden Ross would be like the white fraternity, and they do zesty shit. And they say that, we just trolling and whatnot. But, they call it trolling these days. But what were they calling it back in the days of Animal House when they were doing the same type of weird shit? Yeah, like American Pie and the shit with Chevy Chase. We used to grow up watching these fraternity movies and shit like that. They were still doing that type of zesty bromance, Seth Rogen weirdo shit. But the new group of them are the young white boys, and Aiden Ross is the head of that. But Aiden Ross was able to, National Lampoon. Aiden Ross, by helping out Trump with his candidacy, he now gets elevated to the front of the line and whatnot. Aiden Ross is going to be rewarded handsomely for being the liaison with Donald Trump and the streamers and some of the podcasters. Yeah, Jackass, that whole Jackass, Steve O and all of that. That's what the streamers are doing now. The streamers took over, and the streamers are doing the same type of shit. What's my nigga name? Speed, the nigga that be jumping over cars and whatnot. So now, the Tom Green show, Jackass, the shit with the big black nigga that he looked like the Green Mile dude, and he was walking around with the little white boy. Is that ridiculousness? What was that show where the black dude was like, he might as well had a leash on a nigga? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I Show, Speed in them. They're all giving Revenge of the Nerd energy. These are the new, Rob and Big. What the fuck? Rob and Big. What the fuck? Rob and Black. What the fuck? Who the fuck? The guy died, right? The black guy died. like the same way like the Green Mile nigga died. You can't be big and black in Hollywood, and when they invite you to a Diddy party, you turn it down because Terry Crews went. He went to the party. These other big niggas didn't go. So that's what the podcasters are right now. Not the podcasters, the streamers. Not all of them. Not all of them. They've taken over some of the things that MTV. I mean, it's kind of genius when you look at it because they're filling in that niche for the children of the people that used to watch these MTV shows. They had children, and their children are now watching Kai Cenat and I Show Speed and Aiden Ross. It's the same type of tactics. It's the same type of, it's borderline zesty. It's super zesty type shit. Very bromance type of energy. Okay, very bromance type of energy, right? But they love Donald Trump because of his confidence. Albeit all of that criminality type shit, the confidence is where they're drawn into. It's the type of confidence that Andrew Tate tried to exude, but Andrew Tate doesn't have as much accolades under. He's not the fucking president. He's not the ex-president. He don't have the type of notches under his belt than a Donald Trump. That's the big homie to a Andrew Tate. And then Elon, who's the ultimate fanboy, and he's the ultimate incel. Where did you see him in this election? What did he wind up doing? He wound up going dark MAGA, and he turned into a super fan, super stan, right? And he's part of that whole, weirdo energy type of movement. But they now have a coalition because Trump hit when Trump was on the campaign. You see how Kamala had to pay Oprah $1 million? They wasn't paying these niggas no money to be on these podcasts and to be on these streams and whatnot. They wasn't paying them. They was doing that on the strength. I showed it on the show with Blue that Barron Trump, the young Trump, Barron Trump was in charge of bringing all of the podcasters and the streamers to the table and get his father, because his father sat him down and was like, give me a list of all of the hot streamers and all of the hot podcasts. And it wasn't Trump Jr., it was Barron Trump, the 18-year-old, who was like, go here, go there, go there. And then he was hitting them up on a DM. Hey, this is Barron. My father wants to be on your podcast. You want to make it happen? And they was like, of course. Free of charge. That's the homie. Bring him in. So they're going to get behind him. They need somebody to these boys that are going through identity crises. There's an identity crisis in America. Unfortunately, Trump is a father figure to them. That's a sad state of affairs, but it just is what it is at this point. It just is what it is at this point. Once again, we're in a villain era. We're in a villain era. Okay? And we in the internet era too. So who in the internet era, you'll be surprised who your children look at as heroes. You'll be fucking surprised. It's not it ain't the heroes from John Wayne type of days, my niggas. It ain't the heroes from the John Wayne type of days. These are some new type of people. And y'all were all teenagers before, so you understand what it is. You were young adults before. So I think you get it. You know what I mean? I think you could relate. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we have to go too deep into it. You understand what it is. You get it, right? All right, cool. So I would tell anybody that's watching this, go and get Norman fucking Vincent Peale's book and study that shit like it's your Bible. Study it like it's your Bible. because there's nothing wrong with positive thinking. There's nothing wrong with controlling your reality. There's nothing wrong with speaking things into existence. There's nothing wrong with, you know what? I don't, even if you took a L, nigga, I won. I won. I don't know what a L is. I have no idea what you're talking about. I won. I'm the fucking winner. It's me. It's all mine. I don't have a problem with that. In an era where people's confidence is in the toilet and they don't know if they coming or going and whatnot, and it's hard to find role models and a reference point for people that are great. Nah, fuck that. Go and read that book. Don't be a clone of Donald Trump and whatnot, but he's definitely showing you some examples of how to smile in the face of adversity, or how to smile in the face of adversity and not be so distraught and whatnot, and not how to be weak-minded. You have to have a strong mind to function like how he's functioning, even with the rambling that he does and stuff like that. You have to have a strong magnetic force field in order to take all of those shots and be able to get up in front of the face of the cameras and get in front of the world and act like none of that shit is bothering you. That's a superpower. That's a superpower. Everybody don't got that. That shit could get you very far. Okay? Because if he ever showed signs of defeat throughout this whole ordeal that we was in, if anybody would have smelled blood, they would have pounced on him and whatnot, from the indictments, from the convictions, from the multiple indictments, from the lawsuits, from all of that shit. If he would have been like, I'm tired, if he would have refused to come out to give a speech or any of that shit, they would have bodied him. They would have pounced on him. We smell blood. Because when sharks smell blood, they attack. So you can't never let them see you sweat. I don't give a fuck. You better go out on your feet type shit. You can never let them see you sweat. So even if you ready to give up and tap out, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Let's go. Until it's finito. Until it is over with. That's what he's showing you. You could learn from a fool now. A wise man said you could learn from a fool now. So politics aside, emotions aside, learning lessons. There's some shit to learn right now, type shit. To get you through this new timeline, there's some shit to learn. All is mental. You got to see yourself as the winner to be the winner before you even get in the motherfucking ring. You better gas yourself up. God damn it. So when Trump was 6 years old, that book was released, right? From Norman Vincent Peale. And he linked up with his dad, him and his dad, Fred. When I grew up in Fred Trump's building in Flatbush. We grew up in a Trump building with a terrace. You know what I mean? Fred Trump. I won't say that he was a slumlord because there was nothing slummy about our buildings. You know what I'm talking about? We had a doorman. It wasn't nothing slummy about the building. So I've been familiar with the Trumps since I was a child. Okay? Since I was a child. I think we sued them. I don't know if we won or not. I got to check the records. In the book, Norman Peale was known as God's salesman and called a con man because his simple-minded approach shut off genuine thinking or insight. They said the same thing about Napoleon Hill. We had to sue them because Blue Pill slipped on a diving board, broke his tooth. You know, that's I let him tell the story, but he slipped on the diving board, and it was a little bit of negligence on the lifeguards side. But that's another story. On Tuesday, by the time the book is published, hundreds of thousands of American lives will have been sacrificed on the altar of Donald's hubris and willful ignorance. If he is afforded a second term, it will be the end of American democracy. Right? So that's one of that I think that was his, that's Mary Trump, I believe. That's one of his family members. She tried to, people's, Peel's doctrine proclaimed that you only need self-confidence in order to prosper in the way that God wants you to. For example, he wrote in the Power of Positive Thinking that obstacles are simply not permitted to destroy your happiness and well-being. You need to be defeated only if you are willing to be. Mary writes that Peel's view confirmed what Fred Trump has always thought. He was rich because he deserved to be. Fred Trump was a real estate developer who had a net worth of 250 to 300 million at the time of his death. Now, in the 90s, 300 million was a lot of fucking money. That's almost $1 billion back then. God damn it. 300 million in the 90s was a lot of goddamn money, nigga. Big Macs was $2. That was a lot of bread. He has mantras in his book like believe in yourself, have faith in your abilities. A sense of inferiority and inadequacy interferes with the attainment of your hopes. Let's say that again. This is what the incels, this is what the men going their own way, this is what some of these young men with no fathers and brothers, and they've been listening to hip hop and watching porn. They don't have self-confidence. They have low self-esteem. There's rumors that the dating pool is horrible. Why? Because they was like, them niggas don't know how to kick it. You know what I'm talking about? They just want to stick it. They out here popping balloons on the brothers the minute they step out. Pop, 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 pop. Like, damn. Right? So they're drawn to this figure, to this, larger than life figure. You feel me? It's all an illusion, right? But it's still the Matrix. We on TV. This is the Matrix. Then it's through your phone. It's through your phone. It don't have to be real. That we don't live in that era, right? It don't have to be real. Donald Trump is an idea. He's a concept. He's an archetype. He don't have to be real like that. Them children is them the teenagers, the young adults and whatnot around the globe. He's still thug inspiration. He's thug motivation. He still is going to manage to inspire people to get up and to make a few $1 billion. I'm going to just share something with you real quick. And y'all might think that this is out of the reach. If Bitcoin goes to 100 grand, there are going to be thousands of new billionaires born overnight. And they're not going to be 50 and 60 and 70, and they're not going to be in business. They're going to be niggas from the hood. You understand? The new wave of billionaires is coming overnight. Solana, they're going to have Solana billionaires, XRP billionaires, Bitcoin billionaires, Ethereum billionaires. That's coming very soon. Shibu Inu, Dogecoin billionaires, right? So these people are going to benefit if they, you got to be able to study, of course. You just can't look at Donald Trump and just fall in line if you don't know what's powering him, if you don't study him, if you don't understand what it is that he's utilizing as his engine. Okay? You don't have to be a piece of crap businessman. You don't have to be cocky. You don't have to be arrogant. You don't have to be nasty. You don't have to be a liar. You don't have to be any of these things. You don't have to be a narcissist. None of these things are in the book of The Power of Positive Thinking. That is not what Norman Peale taught him. These are some of the things that this man taught him. Roy Cohn and whatnot. Roy Cohn helped to define his evil side and whatnot and bring out his dark side. This dude right here was more about the positive, strengthening the mind and turning you and programming you to be, like how Napoleon Hill talks about Think and Grow Rich. And even when you study Manly P. Hall, and he talks about the quote unquote magnetic field, the magnetic field is about your thoughts. Your magnetic field in your aura is about your mind. It's about your thoughts. It's about what you can manifest with positive thought, positive affirmations, positive mantras, meditations, seeing it and believing it, visualization, living it, getting in the car that you want, smelling the leather, taking it for a test drive and acting like it's yours and whatnot. All of that shit is in these books. So that's the type of time. So you can't tell the millions of people that's sitting on crypto right now, their minds, the power of positive thinking, they're like 100x, 10x. They couldn't see it during Joe Biden's presidency. That's why crypto was in the graveyard. It didn't move anywhere. He don't bring no current. That's weekend at Bernie's, my nigga. He didn't even have a living current for no one to attach to. He don't got no Wi-Fi for you to attach to. This is Joe Biden that we talking about. However, when Trump comes along, in the mind, in the subconsciousness of somebody that might be sitting on 10,000 coins of XRP, they're like, yo, I could see myself being a billionaire while this dude is the president. I could visually see it. So I'm going to sleep with the thoughts and the ideas that when I wake up, my coin is going to be on fire. When I wake up, Bitcoin is going to be at 80. When I wake up, Ethereum is going to be at 10 bands and whatnot. When that begins to take place, then you're going to see people's realities change and whatnot. The power of positive thinking. And it don't matter what the world is going through. Fuck the world. It has nothing to do with that. The world is an NPC. What's going on in your world? You could become a billionaire while everybody around you is still 100-aire. It has nothing to do with their fate and with their quote unquote, whatever their cards are, whatever their chart, whatever their contract is. It's not your contract. It's not your contract. It has nothing to do with you. This is about preparation. This is about preparing oneself. You know what I'm talking about? This reward that's coming and whatnot is for the people with diamond hands who've been preparing for years now, regardless of who was president. Motherfuckers been burying acorns and stashing them and whatnot. They've been patiently waiting. They planted seeds very long time ago, patiently waiting and watering those seeds while it was like, oh, you ain't gonna get a job. Oh, where the money at? Oh, where them dollars at? And you know what I mean? And you sitting around like, you know what? I don't have no money to waste. I don't got no money to throw around. You know what I mean? I don't blow my money fast anymore. I invest it. And people don't understand you when you say that you're an investor because they not looking at long term. They only seeing the short term. They microwavable and whatnot. They want instant gratification. You know what I'm talking about? They don't know the good things come to those who wait. No, we out here growing fruit trees, and them trees gonna grow fruits to feed others. You understand? This is what we've been doing. When y'all been asking us, what y'all doing? Well, we've been investing in the future. Okay? And we're invested in the future. So our investments will have us, being enthusiastic about a Trump presidency because, nigga, we need our coins to wake up. You know what I'm talking about? We need our coins to wake up. It is what it is. How Norman Vincent Peale taught Donald Trump to worship himself. When it all went, you know what I mean? If your hand calls for it, if nothing else is working for you, my genius, it may be time to start worshiping yourself. If you tried other ways and that shit is not hitting and whatnot, then you might just want to scrap all of that and just get back to the drawing board and start worshiping yourself. For real, for real. It's working for this guy. After the second Republican debate, when it appeared that Donald Trump's lead was finally starting to slip, and Carly Fiorina and Mark Rubio were gaining traction, Trump himself, in typical fashion, appeared to only see positive signs. He told Fox News' Sean Hannity that only the polls that showed him having picked up support mattered because they represented the people who vote. The happy talk was relentless. After speakers at the Emmy Awards on September 20th ridiculed him, Trump told Politico that the evening had been amazing. More recently, Trump berated a news photographer who dared to take pictures of empty seats at one of his rallies, insisting his events were as packed as ever. Is this guy for real? Or more to the point, could anyone really possess that much self-confidence? There has been no shortage of explanations. A huge inferiority complex, infantile narcissism, delusional thinking for Trump's undying self-assurance. But I discovered when writing a book about Donald, his father and his grandfather, if you want to understand what goes on underneath the blonde comb over, you'll do well to look back at two crucial events in the early 1950s. Event number one occurred in October 1952 when a book appeared called The Power of Positive Thinking, written by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale and translated into 15 languages. It remained on the New York Times bestseller list for 186 weeks and sold 5 million copies. Donald was only 6 when it came out, but it became important in the large Queens household in which he grew up, and it would play a critical role in his future. Okay. What was event number 2? And then in 1990, after splurging on a third casino, an airline, the world's second largest yacht, and a Plaza Hotel, Trump found himself nearly $1 billion in debt, and the banks were threatening foreclosure. But after weeks of round-the-clock negotiations, he emerged relatively unscathed. And in a 2009 interview with Psychology Today, he gave Peale's book credit for his survival. Citing his father's friendship with Peale and calling himself a firm believer in the power of being positive, he said, "What helped is I refused to give in to the negative circumstances and never lost faith in myself. I didn't believe I was finished even when the newspapers were saying so." So the second event was in the early 50s, and in the development of Donald's personality and style was the emergence of modern branding. At the dawn of the 20th century, most makers of consumer products focused only on selling as much as possible. By the mid-century, manufacturers of everything from laundry soap and baked beans to automobiles and airlines were taking their focus a few steps further, concentrating not just on how much rolled off of the assembly line, but on polishing and enhancing the aura and attractiveness of the product. From now on, marketers would not simply tout how well a product performed. Instead, they would study how consumers felt about the maker of the product, and they would bend every effort towards making everything associated with that name as positive and compelling as possible. Believe in yourself. Peale's book begins. Have faith in your abilities. He then outlines 10 rules to overcome inadequacy attitudes and build up confidence in your powers. Rule 1: formulate and staple indelibly on your mind a mental picture of yourself as succeeding. Hold this picture tenaciously and always refer to it no matter how badly things seem to be going at the moment. So you could be homeless, you could be doing life, you could be down and out. You have to formulate and you have to staple this picture into your mind of your success, you succeeding. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What do you have on? Who is around you? You feel me? And when shit goes really bad and when you really get to a dark place, you bring that picture back up and you look at yourself and you see yourself and you bring yourself into that world and whatnot. Okay. You shift those timelines and you put yourself back into that place where you that nigga. Okay. Subsequent rules tell the reader to avoid fear thoughts, never think of yourself as failing, summon up a positive thought whenever a negative thought concerning your personal powers comes to mind, depreciate every so-called obstacle and make a true estimate of your own ability, then raise it 10%. Peel's philosophy fell on willing and eager ears in the Trump family long before this self-esteemed guru codified his canon. Donald's grandfather, Frederick, used Peel-like confidence and tenacity to make the first Trump fortune during the Klondike Gold Rush. A few decades later, Donald's father, Fred, deployed proto-Peel thinking to become a multi-millionaire real estate developer in Brooklyn and Queens, and Donald Trump himself has cited Peel's advice many times in his own career. Okay, so this is considered to be the dark tetrad, all right? Something that the traits of CEOs around the world are known to possess, right? Psychopath, manipulative, violent, narcissistic, charming. That is P. Diddy. That is Harvey Weinstein. Okay, these are the people. That is Clive Davis and whatnot. That's Jeff Bezos. That's Elon Musk. All right. This right here, though, is Christian Bale from American Psycho. If you did not see American Psycho, man, we need to have a watch party. We really need to have a watch party. I think we could do a watch party on Discord because I would sit down and watch this shit with y'all. This is a very interesting movie on the psychology of the Western quote unquote CEO Fortune 500 man. Came out in 2000, I believe. It's very dark. All right. The dark triad: narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. All right. And that is something that Donald Trump possesses. Okay. The fact that he's been fighting multiple charges, I promise you, it may mean something to you, but based off his psychological profile, it's really part of he's on brand. It's just part of his makeup. Okay. And he may belong to a sect where doing negative is seen as doing positive. All right. We're going to get into that before this show is over, that he may belong to a group of individuals where doing negative is seen as doing positive. And people are so damn caught up in these mind states of right and wrong and this fake morality that you don't even realize some of the people that you're dealing with and what is their worldview, what are they following and whatnot. It may be something that's completely out of the scope of your understanding. What professions have the most psychopaths? CEOs. Okay. Lawyers. Media, TV and radio. Okay. Surgeons. This was a survey that they took and came up with all of that. There's actual white papers and treatises and whatnot on this stuff. There's complete case studies. Okay. So Candace Owens. She went viral a few months ago. This was in July. She did a debate with a rabbi, washed him up. Okay. She did a debate with a rabbi, washed him up big time. And she brought some things out that we've talked about before, but it was just good to hear Candace talking about it respectfully. You know what I'm talking about? And she brought out some things and whatnot. So let me read this real quick so we can understand who people like Donald Trump, right? Because we don't understand who they follow, because a lot of these people follow crypto religions. And when I say crypto, I'm not necessarily talking about the coins. Crypto is hidden. So everybody has a crypto religion on the surface, like, your public face and whatnot. But behind closed doors, you're practicing something in private. You know what I mean? You're practicing something in private because it's not necessarily accepted in the society that you live in. So you have to wear a mask. Okay? You got to wear a mask. So since her ouster from the Daily Wire for peddling anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, right-wing pundit Candace Owens has kept her hot streak going, dismissing Joseph Mengel's medical experiments as propaganda, suggesting that AIPAC killed JFK, and now in her latest exhuming the obscure 18th century Jewish apostate and Messiah claimant Jacob Frank. Frank and Frankism, Owen believes, are responsible for modern day PDF file cabals. Okay. So mind you, this is a Jewish publication that is posting this article. So they're not going to be favorable to her, of course. You know what I mean? She's exposing them, but it's definitely worth the read. In a live stream rant on her YouTube channel Monday night, Owens said that Frank, who believed himself to be the reincarnation of false Messiah Sabbatai Tevezi, founded the preferred religion of the elites. Right? Go and look up Frankists. Go preferably through ChatGPT. Go through ChatGPT or any one of the AI LLMs like Anthropic's Claude, or it be like don't go through Google. I'm just saying all of that to say that Google is scrubbed of this information. They're not gonna the AI is more fresher because it scrubbed the entire internet, so it has all of these information inside of it. And when you prompt it, you just bring it out. It's a way easier way of getting information than through Google. Google is compromised. I'm sorry to say it, but Frankists, like Frank, like, Frank, there's a lot of, they use a lot of pause. Whew. Frank in the English language has multiple meanings and whatnot. But there's a sect. This is what Hollywood, these are the people that they're calling the Illuminati, and they're misnomering them and calling them all of these things. These are Frankists. Okay? Do your research. She's obviously done hers. Okay? She's obviously done hers. I have to give her the big stamp and the cosign on this, because y'all know, the people that have been following us, we don't even talk about this on YouTube like that. This is the shit that we have in our in our lectures. This is the type of information that we do deep dives on our lectures on like Zoom, because the algorithm, the algorithm, it's almost like the sentinels from the Matrix. You say a word and them niggas all of the sentinels start coming and whatnot, and they have words that will trigger the sentinels. And these the people that run big tech, they run the social media, they do not want you to know about this. There's literally laws on the books where you can't talk about this. In certain countries, you could get locked up. Type shit. For real. Yeah. So Frankists, she insisted, worship the devil and believe through deception they will inherit the earth. Now, this is a very, very important tenet that you have to be able, because worshiping the devil, I'm going to show you how that's backed up and whatnot. Even though she's a wild Bible thumper Christian, I'm going to show you what she means by that, right? But the part that I want you to really do your research on is the fact that they believe that through deception that they will inherit the earth. Now, when you look at the Mossad and whatnot, they say through deception we will win war. This is something that isn't real. This is their slogan and whatnot, through deception. And you know that in war, 90% of the information is propaganda and it's deception. Bitcoin just hit $79,000. Okay, it just hit $79,000. Let that sit in. Okay, let me hold something. All of my biddies out. Let me hold something. So she also alleged that the Frankists were behind the French Revolution and Russian Revolution to bring down Christian empires. Okay. A Putin apologist, Owens also made a big deal about Frank being from what is now the Ukraine, even though he mostly grew up in the Ottoman Empire and preached to those in what was then Poland. Think about it. So Hitler and them ran through Poland, right? They ran through Ukraine. You got Ukraine at war with Russia right now. And it's a whole situation with the Greek Orthodox Church versus the Rome. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of shit at play. Okay. When you talk about what's going on in the Ukraine, they're saying that there's Nazis over there and there's white nationalists over there, and there's all of these quote unquote, neo-Nazis and things of that nature. But there's also Frankists over there. Anywhere that you have that heavy PDF file contingency, like Tel Aviv and whatnot, that's where they at, because this is their religion. They're hiding it. Well, a lot of those claims are new information to me. Owens, who attributed the origins of her discovery to a book on Sigmund Freud and mysticism, exploded a scandalous deep cut chapter of Jewish history into an event that reshaped the world and brought Christianity to its knees. What about the sect's notorious mass conversion to Roman Catholicism? Owen said that that's typically shifty Frankish stuff and offer an effort to deceive and infiltrate, right? So there was a notorious mass conversion to Roman Catholicism, right? And the Roman Catholic Church just paid damn near $1 billion because their priests were doing what? Frankish type of activities. You understand? They've been doing it, but the infiltration of these systems by these people who are like crows, they're like the scrolls and whatnot. Remember that series on from Marvel, the Scrolls, Secret War and whatnot, how they were able to take on the identity of different people. That's what these people are called, the identity thieves. They're able. Let me hold on. Y'all playing games, man. We got to turn up. It's Saturday Night Live. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm out here talking that spooky shit. I need my music, man. I need my respectfully, In picking her new bugbear, Owens has revealed a level of Jewish history unknown to even most Jews all while, in her dog whistly way, indicating that Frankists could basically be bracketed with multiple parentheses, though she acknowledged that Frank's cult rejected rabbinical Judaism and were repudiated in turn. For the uninitiated, some of what Owens is saying is true. Frank's ministry developed from Sabianism, and his disciples did, as Owen said, have sexual rituals. The most infamous was the 1756 Lancanor. I don't know how to pronounce that. The Langaroni affair, where Frankists were said to revel around a naked woman and maybe also have an orgy. Following that scandal, Frank was considered a heretic by most of the Polish Jewish authorities that had, up until then, tolerated the Sabbateans. But Owens is far less interested in Frank's conception of the Shekinah being manifest in his daughter and heir, Eve, or his philosophy of liberating of the divine spark through transgression. Remember, his philosophy, they have a philosophy of liberating the divine spark through transgression, meaning that they find salvation in crime, or they find salvation in inversion, right? So the whole movement was basically about taking a religion and inverting it. Henceforth, while you have the inverting of these symbols, the inverting of these quote unquote philosophies and whatnot, everything is inverted. They're not following nothing straightforward. They're doing the shit backwards. And on the surface, they're playing like, oh, yeah, we're good. You know, we're following a religion and, you know, we're honoring the tenets of the religion and da da da. But no, hell no. Hell no. Henceforth, yeah. Okay. The Frankists were rumored to be bankrolled by the Rothschilds, right? So it's a lot that goes with this. It's a lot that goes with this. And we could take a deep dive. We've been doing deep dives on this topic. We've been doing deep dives, but we'll continue to do more deep dives because these are the people in charge of the record industry, the music industry, the Hollywood shit, all of these houses that are burning right now as I speak in California. You feel me? These are the people that are overseas bombing babies right now. Like, it's prevalent. The conversation is needed, right? Frank is also, according to Owens, associated with Leo Frank, the lynched pencil factory superintendent accused of raping and murdering an employee, and through him the ADL was formed, right? This was in 1915 in Georgia, right? For anybody that's not familiar with Leo Frank was the O.J. Simpson story of that day. He was a Jew. He was accused of murdering a young white girl called Mary Flagden, and he was lynched. You know what I mean? It was one of the biggest trials of the century. This is when the first time you started hearing the term anti-Semite. Anti-Semite, right? That's one of the first times they began to use that, right? That was not used before. And they broke him. They took him out of a jail and hung him in Marietta. Leo Frank, he was hung. He was lynched. He was one of the first Jews that were lynched. As a result of him being lynched, the ADL was formed. Now, here's the caveat, right? He was accused of murdering 14-year-old or 13-year-old Mary Flagden, right? And they worked at a pencil factory and he was the manager. Now, there was a black man who was also charged with the murder. So this put Negroes or blackamoors or whatever you want to call them, it put melanated men, right, who were literally, you know, throughout time, this is what they were being lynched for. This is what they were being killed for. This is what they were being persecuted for. This is where they were hanging strange fruit from trees based off of the quote unquote fear of the blackamoor phallus and whatnot. The same year of 1915, where Leo Frank gets lynched, the KKK resurrects on Stone Mountain, and they said that these were the same people who lynched Leo Frank, the Knights of Mary Flagden. These same Europeans deputized themselves as the Ku Klux Klan on Thanksgiving on the top of Stone Mountain. It's the same year that the birth of a nation was watched at the White House, right? And it was screened at the White House, and it gave rise to mass lynchings and to the second wave of the KKK, where they were riding against melanated men. And in the propagandized movie Birth of a Nation, it was all about fear of the blackamoor messiah, or fear of the black man's phallus, the King Kong type of theory, the King Kong story, the big black brute, right? The big black brute who we have to protect our women from. What did Donald Trump run off of? We're going to protect our women from the big black brute, the browning of America, the fact that white women are not getting with white men. Donald Trump had a problem with that, and that's what he ran off of. That's his dog whistles and whatnot. We're going to make America great again. We're going to make America white again. We're going to stop the browning of America. We're going to have these Beckys lay down with these Tims and not tampon, Tim either. Okay, so after they lynched Leo Frank, the ADL now has a pet peeve and a mission, a lifelong mission, to go against the people who lynched them. But I just shared with you, it was the KKK that lynched them. You never seen the ADL go after the KKK. You never seen the ADL go after the white supremacists. You seen the ADL go after black men. You seen the ADL go after black men, and to the point where they became our judges, our lawyers. They really started getting into the law after this situation with Leo Frank, because they was like, nah, they out here lynching our people, calling them PDF files and everything. They was like, no, we have to infiltrate into become judges, lawyers, prosecutors. And from that point on, our fate was in their hands, and they've slandered us. They've bankrupted us. They've put us in jail for life. They've given us the death penalty. They turned the crime bill into a slavery bill. This is all at their hands, yo. Don't get it twisted. These are lobbyists. They don't have to be the sitting a politician. They bought the politician. They own the politician. You feel me? He's doing their bidding. So yeah, this is a rabbit hole. You could go and do the research if you have the time. If you want to understand your enemy, if you want to understand, I promise you, you're going to need these clips if you want to bust your gun and stay standing so they don't mow you down and whatnot. Because if they study your history, why are you not studying theirs? They talk about they were being persecuted and ran out of countries. Why do you think? They talk about the pogroms and they were getting put to the stake. Why do you think? Because there were these groups and whatnot running around doing some devilish shit, and people knew about that, and it was exposed and whatnot, and they were putting them people to the stake. You understand? These people find salvation through transgression. There's nothing that you could do with a person like that. You got to take their head. They find transgression. They find salvation through transgression. So opposite, it's inverted than what they teach you in Sunday school, that you find the quote unquote, you have to atone to basically find, you know what I mean? To walk into the kingdom and whatnot. They do the opposite. They're inverting it. They on the Aleister Crowley shit. You get into the kingdom by violating people. You get into the kingdom by taking souls and breaking them and whatnot. The more innocent the victim, the more powerful the adrenochrome. The more innocent and unsuspecting of the victim is the more powerful the ritual. They're not taking advantage of people who are broken, and people who are out. You know what I mean? They don't get nothing off of that. The followers of Jacob Frank in Podolia, southeast Poland, who formed themselves into a Shabbatian sect, right? That's one of their messiahs, Shabbatia Zevi. You got to understand who these messiahs are to them. Frank, a charismatic figure, but also by all accounts, something of a charlatan and bold adventurer, boasted of his ignorance of the Talmud, claiming that the true higher Torah is found only in the Zohar, hence the name Zoharis, by which the sect was known in the 18th century. So the Frankists become the Zoharis, and I'm sure y'all are more familiar with hearing the name of the Zoharis than the Frankists. Well, that's the same group of people who basically switched their names up, and they also dealt with the Kabbalah. The name Frankist was not given them until the early 19th century after Frank's death. The Frankists conformed outwardly to the halakha, the legal side of Judaism, but in secret believed it essential to disobey the law. They went even so far as to indulge in orgies at which the sexual prohibitions of adultery and incest were cast aside, right? So when you see the Diddy parties, when you hear about all of the things going on in Jewish-controlled Hollywood and whatnot, when you hear about Diddy, you got to do your research on Clive Davis. When you hear about Clive Davis, you got to do the research on who came before him. When you talk about Hugh Hefner, you got to figure out what is his ethnicity and what were those orgies about and whatnot. And it goes all the way back to this ancient sect. Whereas you got to do the research on Crowley, you got to do the research on Helen Blavatsky and whatnot. What were the sex cults about? What were the rituals about? It's not just about busting a nut and scratching the itch and whatnot. They're conducting rituals, right? Pure rituals. So this is Leo Frank. This is the person that I was talking about earlier that got hung in Atlanta and Marietta, Georgia on August the 17th, 1915 and whatnot. Big trial. You might not have known about it, but big trial. Okay? Big trial, right? This shit had humongous conjuring. They're conjuring. All right. The lynching of Leo Frank, like I said, Mary Fagan, he's the one who gives birth to the ADL, one of the most powerful quote unquote Jewish organizations in the world. So Frank became the number one enemy of all Jewry of the Jews. It meant constant search for a hiding place. For the first few years, he stayed in the safest, as it seemed, place of the Polish Lithuanian Commonwealth, the monastery of Jasna Gora, right? Liberated from there by Russian troops, he went with his lifeguards to Brno in Moravia, having the status of a non-totalitarian Judaist, and from there to Offenbach. Frank often traveled in the Balkans and there met followers of the Sabbatai. An uneducated visionary, he appealed to many who awaited the resurrection of the Sabbatai, who's the Messiah or the false Messiah. In about 1751, he proclaimed himself the Messiah, and 4 years later in Poland formed a sect that held that certain elect persons are exempt from what? The moral law. How they moving right now, and is it real and whatnot? They're saying that they're exempt from moral law. That army, the IDF, says they're the most moral army in the world where they could do all of the atrocities that they're doing and whatnot. And they're like, we don't have to answer to anybody. We are above moral law. Right? So this mind state has seeped into this quote unquote these people who you think that they are, you know, religious and whatnot, but they're not. But they're not. Those people in government over there, they're not religious. They got religious people over there, but the people in government, and is it real? They're not religious. They're not orthodox. They're not religious like that, but they practicing something though. In about 1751, he proclaimed himself the Messiah. Now you got to understand what in their culture, this whole messianic thing is bigger than it is in this culture. You know, we appoint some of our leaders and whatnot, MLKs, and that's a Messiah. He got no. With them, the Messiah shit is very, very, very big. You just can't go around claiming the Messiah. You can't just go around saying that you're a Messiah and whatnot. So, yeah. So he formed a sect that held that certain elect persons are exempt from the moral law. This sect abandoned Judaism for a higher Torah based on the Zohar, which was the most important work in the Kabbalah, the Jewish mystical movement. Hence, its members are also called themselves Zoharists. Their practices, including orgiastic, sexually promiscuous rites, led the Jewish community to ban them as heretics in the 1756. Protected by Roman Catholic authorities, who saw in them a means of converting the Jews, the Frankists debated with representatives of the rabbinate and claimed that the Talmud, the rabbinical compendium of law and commentary, should be discarded as blasphemous. They were also partly responsible for the revival of the canard that the Jews used Christian blood for Passover rituals. In the meantime, to preserve his following, Frank publicly committed his supporters to mass baptism and was himself baptized in Warsaw, with Augustus III, King of Poland, acting as his godfather. The Frankists, however, continued their sectarian ways. As a result, the Inquisition imprisoned Frank in the fortress of Czechoslovakia in 1760. The fucking Inquisition, bro. Freed by the conquering Russians in 1773, he eventually settled in Offenbach, dubbing himself Baron. His many followers supported him in a manner befitting the nobility. Upon Frank's death, he was succeeded by his daughter Eve, who eventually spent all the money that the Frankists had given her, leading to her arrest for bankruptcy. She died in 1816. And the sect deteriorated rapidly, and the descendants of those baptized merged with the Roman Catholic population. Right? So when you see the activities of the Roman Catholic priests going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right, then you know who was absorbed into the ranks. Okay? So after Sabbatia Tzevi's death in 1676, the sect continued to flourish. The nihilistic tendencies of the Sabbatianism reached a peak in the 18th century with the false messiah Jacob Frank, who claimed to be Sabbati Tzevi's reincarnation and whose followers reputedly sought redemption through orgies at mystical festivals. The confusion and ill feeling ran so deep among the Jewish communities that a strong aversion to Kabbalah and active messianic tendencies developed in response. Right? So Kabbalah and esoteric Jewish mysticism as it appeared in the 12th and following centuries. Kabbalah has always been essential in oral tradition, and that initiation into its doctrines and practices is conducted by a personal guide to avoid the dangers inherent in mystical experience. Esoteric Kabbalah is also tradition in as much as it lays claim to secret knowledge of the unwritten Torah, which is divine revelation that was communicated by God to Moses and Adam. Through observance of the law of Moses remained the basic tenet of Judaism, Kabbalah provided a means of approaching God directly. Now, for the record, there's nothing evil about Kabbalah. You know what I'm talking about? It's actually a study, a good study if you want to understand multiple sciences and whatnot. But yeah, Benaya Brith International, they were the ones who were, I believe Leo Frank was down with them, and this is where the ADL forms after this and whatnot. So we're gonna leave it on this, and we'll be back for a follow-up of this conversation where we're gonna talk about the fall of the music industry, and we're also gonna speak about how these people who I'm exposing y'all to, how they play a part in the music industry, and you know, the degeneracy that we see in our culture, how it's working vicariously through these sects, these quote unquote these demonic sects and whatnot, who are cosplaying as CEOs, A&Rs, agents, managers, shit like that. You know what I mean? But we know who they are. We're gonna out them, we're gonna find them, and we're gonna expose them. We're gonna drain the swamp. Yeah, we're gonna drain the swamp. But yeah, that's about it for now. Oh shit, we're 3 hours in. God damn it. Got a whole nother lecture. Show some love and hit up the Buy Me a Coffee. That's right there. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat, so if you want to get to it, you can get to it. You know, we just out here buying coffees and whatnot. Vegan coffee, of course, you know. But I want to come back tomorrow with Sacrilegious Sundays. I definitely want to come back and continue cooking, you know, because the cooking got to keep cooking, you know what I mean? We got to keep. Oh, okay, I'm seeing, I just logged in. There's a lot of love coming from the Buy Me a Coffee. I wasn't even aware of that. Shout out to everybody who has bought a coffee. You know what I'm saying? Who has bought a coffee. You know, I appreciate you. Any questions? If there's any questions, I feel like answering a few. If there's any questions, you could go ahead and ask them before we get out of here. Yo, real talk though, I started this show, I had a migraine. I promise you can ask my wife. I was laid out. You know what I mean? I wasn't even gonna make the show. You feel me? And there's no longer the migraine is gone. I don't even remember. I had to remind myself that I had one. You know, that's the power of the of shows, of this network, of this platform. You know what I mean? Because to press the go live button sometimes is a fucking struggle. I promise you. To press the go live button, there'd be days where I'd be like, I can't do it. And you know what I'm saying? But once you go live, you know, you outside, you know what I mean? It's no turning back. You know what I mean? You got to show up and you got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I do not even want to press that button, you know? And it's nothing personal. This shit is heavy. This content creating, this internet sitting in front of this fucking blue screen. This is not easy, bro. I'm not going to complain though. I'm not going to complain, but you know, it's not a walk in the park. It takes some getting used to. I promise you. It may look easy, but it's not, you know. But with that being said, we'll be back. Let me show y'all the lecture that we got, me and Blue. If you enjoyed any of the research that you heard tonight, you already know what we about to bring to the table on the 22nd. You know, me and Blue, we haven't done something together in a very long time. We are in the Scorpio season right now. You know what I mean? So we're gonna form Wonder Twins Activate. We're gonna come together, and we're gonna deliver another classic to the family. And the timing is right. You know what I mean? The timing is right. We're in the perfect time to drop this information. So link is in the bio. And with that being said, do these sex pass off their victim captors as their daughters? Yes, they do that. Yes, they definitely do that. They definitely do that. You know what I mean? They got a lot of people, a lot of their captives running around as their progeny, and it's not their children. It has nothing. It's not their children. It's not their children. I don't have Cash App. I don't have Cash App. I only have this right here. Buy me a coffee. You feel me? No Cash App. So yes, with that being said, love and light to the family. Y'all stay dangerous. We will see you very, very soon. Peace.
Red, blue, purple light, friends. Red, blue, purple light, friends. Facts. Red, blue, purple light, friends. Red and blue, purple light, friends. Facts. You can get to know the ledger, sacrilegious Sunday to melanin Monday. You can get to know the ledger, my love. Just open your third eye on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes, the Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road. You better stay on your toes. I was till the land focused on the ego. Then I opened my heart, let go of the ego. Grand after grand, we stacking up these C notes. Facts, facts, yeah. We gon' put this shit on our backs. Facts, facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts. Peace, love and light. Peace, love to the family. Peace, love and light to the family. Peace, love and light to the family.
These days and time, black man, is going to be the time that you have been waiting for. You came here for a reason. Whatever pressure, whatever adversity, whatever the fuck you feel, I don't know what you feel, but whatever you may be feeling is going to push you, and it's going to provoke you, and it's either going to make you or break you, similar to how pressure busts pipes or the shit makes diamonds.